love Steve.
We're back.
She does too.
We did it. Wait, was Steve the father?
No.
All right.
No, Steve Wilkos is evidently amazing.
Welcome to Wrestling on the Rocks, where every show is our first show, and we're never going to get this shit right.
Bienvenidos a Luchas de las Piedras.
And this is why we drink. We drink because we can't figure it out.
Me gusta mucho tomar.
Kevlar, what's in your glass? What are you drinking?
Caskmates, some Jameson. Yeah.
Jameson Caskmates?
Yeah, the stout edition.
Well,
it's pretty good.
And to keep on track with our desire to become sponsored or shut down, I will also have a Jameson. This is Jameson Cold Brew. Oh, shoot. There's a sticker on the back of this one. There wasn't on the other one. Tell us what you think it says.
Oh.
After purchase, open for details. I didn't do that yet.
No shit.
Maybe that's how we get sponsored. Maybe it's on the back of this sticker. This is it, guys. We're doing it. It's going to happen.
Maybe it's like a golden ticket to a new liver.
Yo, what if I open it up and it just literally just says cease and desist?
What's the hashtag? What's the hashtag say?
What's the hashtag say?
Does it say any, like...
No, it's an actual thing. It's not.
Oh.
It's not a tweet. It's a sticker.
Huh. Okay. Old school.
Yeah, they went old school with it.
It says not a substitute for family.
What? That's not true. Why would they lie? They are my family. Here, go ahead and see if you can pull that off and see what it's about. Maybe you'll find the hashtag you've always wanted.
Maybe, okay, great. Jameson whiskey is...
Yeah, it's a sticker. It's got tape or something. Don't rip it or cut it. Just do the right thing.
I'm just trying to tweet us out.
Oh, are you trying to hashtag it?
No, I was going to.
Well.
Apparently it's confusing.
Well, yeah, now
So
we can't
the bottle.
hashtag it. Yeah. What's up, guys? What happened? Where have we been all week?
Been good. Been a week. Things. Learning.
That's true.
What are you learning?
Getting a car serviced for a family member during all this is more annoying.
Easy peasy.
Get out of the car. A person walks up to me, shakes my hand. Like I had my keys in my hand, shakes my hand, no gloves, no mask, and I'm just like, this is so not how this is supposed to go.
Brings you in for a tender hug, pats you on the back of the head.
Like I said, so do we have a manager I can speak to about this? Because your website says this. We're not doing any of this.
Did you do it?
I didn't do it yet, but I'm just going off you.
Well, that's why I had you do it. I thought you would read it,
It's a
and I wouldn't have to
survey.
stop the whole show to read it.
They want us to do a survey.
What do we got here? $20 prepaid cash card for your opinions, which I have.
Couple.
It's called Response Cash Limited Time
Opinion one,
Offer.
make this $50 cash card.
Yeah. Here's my opinion. Sponsor me, goddammit.
It's delicious with coffee.
It's delicious. With a lot, I think. Actually. Let's see, enter the serial number. Yo, this coupon's got a serial number. This could have definitely waited.
It's delicious with coffee, sadness, medications for mental health.
We're doing it. All right, guys. Cheers. Let's get this show started.
Let's do it.
Take. And then let's start with something sad. Our hearts go out to the family of Shad.
Yeah, Shad, that was crazy. I mean, it's still crazy. Did you hear about this one, Kev? I know you don't do a lot online. One half of the Crime Time, right? Is the team he was in?
Yeah. Shad from Crime Time was out swimming off of Venice Beach with his son. A large group of people were swept up in a particularly powerful riptide. They were able to rescue his son. They evidently were searching for him and others for a while, and eventually they called off the search, and he has not been found yet.
Dang.
Yeah.
apparently, supposedly, again, I wasn't there, I don't have inside information, but what I read is they pulled up to him, and he said, go get my son, and waved them off. And so they went to the son and got him, and then by the time they're coming back, another riptide came through and washed them out. So...
This is California, right?
Absolutely crazy. Yeah, California, and they decided to... Today to call off the search. They're just not going to search anymore. They've been out there for, I guess, a full day, and I mean, I guess it is what it is, and it's awful. And the nice thing about Twitter right now is you are hearing a lot of stories about him, and he sounded like a pretty awesome guy behind the scenes, and anyone who met him seemed to really like the guy. So it's an absolute shame. It is nice to hear these stories I've never heard before. I wish I could have heard them in a different setting. But tears in our beers. This one's for Shad.
Yes.
Let's see. Other news that came through this week. Have you heard about any about the CZW stuff? I don't want to go too far deep into this, but have you heard about any of this stuff, Clump?
I've not followed along. What happened?
You might want to take a look at it. They're under. They're being exposed for a lot of horrible antics going on backstage against the women, and MJF was a bit outspoken about their anti-Semitism and such, but a lot of backstage stuff. And I guess part of it spurned from, and this is the one part of the conversation I think that I think might be interesting to delve into a little bit. It's because I don't really want to get into a lot of the assault stuff and bully stuff, because I don't know, and it sounds horrible, and if it's true, shut that shit down. At the same time, you read about that, and you see a lot of these tweets that people are doing, and you think, I mean, I know that I'm like trying to ref here and there and stuff, and I'd like to do that, but you see, even one of the refs was saying that he felt nervous. He said something along the lines of the countless lessons he'd learned there and the opportunity he was given there, and he's grateful for this and that. And he goes, and then he says, but seriously, I was so scared, and I hated going to work every single time I did because of their general dangerous business practices and the horrible atmosphere and the bullying nonstop. And I just think to myself, I don't see myself living through that. I see myself walking away from that and fighting back to that. Like,
yeah, that's not your style at all.
That's not me. Like, I wouldn't sit there even from a ref perspective and just be treated like shit and then be like, yeah, this is cool. This is just the business. I'd be like, no. Matter of fact, there was an instance where I was at a promotion and a guy was being incredibly mean to another kid, and at some point I did speak up, and I was told the other guy to just, for one, the training you're getting here is not good, go somewhere else, and gave him some pointers. But the other guy, I told him not to come around me and not talk to me, because if we had to be in the same place, he wasn't going to be around me, because I wasn't going to put up with that shit. And it wasn't much longer before he was just gone altogether, so I'm sure other people felt it. But I just don't see how that can go on for so long, and the backstage environment is just, well, I guess this is what we deal with because that's who the owner is. Like, is that worth it?
I think right now, is maybe the best time for this for wrestling, because there is so many opportunities, and it does feel like an upswing, with the exception of the past few months where things have experienced great challenges. But we've seen more promotions, more activity, more ability to present wrestling, and more nuances to it. So I think now, absolutely. And I would hope that seeing this, people would be able to say and feel emboldened if they are working anywhere. Yeah. That they don't have to stand for that. Though, a few short years ago, it's very difficult to, it's very difficult for me to say what I would do, because I'd like to say, yeah, I'd get the hell out of there. I wouldn't take that. But if it were conversely thinking of it as, this is, in my eyes, my shop, the only place I can work, the place I'm trying, and I've wanted this my entire life, I could see putting up with a lot, and that's bad. And in a sense, that's what's being utilized is, you tell these kids or these people, yeah, this is it. if you want to do it, or you create the idea that they'll be blackballed or stuff like that. You know, these pretty terrible things.
Yeah.
And
so at that
people put up
point,
with bullshit. I mean, hell, I didn't think I didn't think I'd put up with certain things at a company I worked for that's now bankrupt, but
yeah.
I put up with it. You know, and that's not comparing myself to what's happened here or what I'm reading about, but you know, I would hope that moving forward and learning this, we are more and more able to just move on and do better.
Yeah, put the power in the talent's hands a little bit more, because it does feel like, now that you mention it, it's almost like exploiting someone's passion and desire to be something and to get somewhere. And if they think that, hey, this is just my biggest opportunity, and it just happens to be for a really shitty person, you just have to hope that on the other side it's not like that. But at the same token, you foster and work for enough people who are that way, and then on the other side it will become that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, and I mean, we've heard lots of stories of similar things, you know, throughout wrestling in various promotions. You know, we've heard stories of the trainer or the promoter who took advantage of the new guys, or the trainer or promoter who took advantage of women. We've heard allegations of female essentially being pimped out to promoters or to talent and to get time for other talents. And, you know, the stories of that, you know, are really upsetting and frightening. And then we hear about them later because in so many cases, when you're in the midst of it, you don't see the negative of it.
You're only focused on the positive side of it. Well, I think the other thing that I thought was interesting about this story was the reason it got brought up, or in the conversation that I was in initially. Is there anything you can do? Like, you've just been fuzzy this whole time with this caution sign. Is it possible that is your service just absolute garbage right now, or is it mine?
Remember, I'm on the iPad. Let me see if I can switch connections. It's going to drop me for a second.
And it's going to create a shitload of feedback. And it's going to post your telephone number live on the air. Which is why I said...
I'm not as worried about a few things.
Okay.
So I just wonder if people like that think that, you know, this is the way it goes. You know, this is just the business. So they stick around and, you know, just think, you know, all of these promotions are going to be like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I mean, and if I also wonder if those types of shitty promoters are people who just find a way to take advantage of other people, and they think that this is how the business is just because that's how they are, and it doesn't have to be that way. But the thing that got brought up was that, so I guess some of the women were in matches for CZW, and ultimately I think they're under new ownership, and someone's selling their pay-per-view matches and cutting them up a little bit and selling them to like a softcore porn style wrestling tape trading type deal. You've seen them around.
Like the backyard wrestling shit, like back in the day?
Kinda, but just more sexualized. The thing I think is interesting about that is that, so a lot of people were speaking up, a lot of the women were very upset that that's how they're selling it, and they're saying they don't have the right to do that. And then, as much as I can agree with it's an unfortunate way to use that footage, there's a very real part of me that thinks, as someone who's worked a contract before, if you're a contract worker and not an employee, you don't get a say in how they utilize the contract work that you did for them. If you produce this match and it was something they could splice up into being sexualized, and then they do, that's what they paid you for, was for that footage to do with whatever they wanted to it. You know? And I think it's just in your hands as the person agreeing to certain contracts that you don't sign contracts with people who are pieces of shit. And if these are the same people who are saying, fuck me or you don't get in the ring, and saying anti-Semitic things in the back, maybe you don't sign a contract for them and then be surprised when they do a shitty thing with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know. To me, it just seems a little bit weird. Clump, are you there even?
Yeah, I'm here.
You're not, though. Visually, you're not.
Do we want me to switch to the phone again and try the phone again? Because the phone's the audio issue. This is a video issue.
Yeah.
True. That is true.
It's just that you look so dumb. I want you on screen right now, you know?
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's mean in general. Your dumb face.
Yeah. My mom always said I had a face for radio.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah. Do you want to switch to the phone?
Let me do this before we do that. Just so that way I can at least protect your cell phone number from view. I'll do this. Oops. This is going to fuck it up. Hey guys, thanks for coming through. If you enjoy this kind of tutorial and stuff, a little how-to on the Apple side of things, go ahead, give us a subscribe. Let us know what you think. All right. Let's see here.
I don't know if we want to know what people think.
Yeah. Never mind. Don't tell me what you think.
Just subscribe.
Just subscribe. How do I hang up on Clump alone?
I don't know, but I see settings happening right now. I don't even see.
That's what I'm going for.
All right.
All right. I have a video of Clump, and he paused it. Wasn't the purpose of that. Why is it paused?
Because audio. I gotta get the fucking mic I have to sync to this.
That's true.
Yeah. Welcome to Learning with.
Yeah, thanks for coming through, guys. Check us out, ProWrestlingTees.com. You can check us out, buy a shirt, and support all of this, because this is worth supporting. And you can go ahead, give us the old Prime subscribe and the follow.
I was hoping you'd say all this while settings weren't up.
Well,
we're gonna make a clip of this.
You can't make a clip of this. Boom! Look at us, we're back.
Yeah, and he's sideways.
That leave him. That's where we get Clump. He's coming in from the side.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Aaron says that he thinks Clump's never looked better, but that was while settings, I believe, were up.
So, I mean, hey, it makes sense.
Here we go. We're back. We're back live. We were never not live. So,
why am I sideways again?
No one knows, dude. You're like the Clump from Whoville.
The fuck is this?
I don't know, man. So as we wrap up CZW, Clump, what do you think about my contract worker spiel?
No, I agree with that. My hope. Okay, cool. There you go. This worked better.
Is it?
I agree with you. I think that with
wow.
Helpful.
What the hell?
Wow, now we've lost video. He's cutting in and out a lot.
And audio.
He's back. He's visually there. Awesome.
Okay.
Thanks for your input, Clump.
With regard to the statement made by one Mosh regarding CZW and contract focus, I fucking believe in what you're saying. If you're signing a contract, part of the risk you need to understand is that you're an extra. You're a bit part player. Yeah. If you want more there, you need to be able to put value in contracts. And if you can't do that, if you and other performers in your industry are unable to do that, maybe that's a reason to band together. Maybe that's a reason to, create groupings or spread the word that this is what happens. Or with what's happening now, do your best to create your own promotion,
Yeah. I mean, I think that if you're experiencing that kind of shit in the back, then you get real fucking picky about whether or not you're going to be on something they're going to tape and own. It's one thing to do live shows where they might tape some of it, but something to do a pay-per-view and say they could do whatever they want with this footage. And I think that you also become very picky about what you're going to do for them at that point, too. But I don't know. What do I know? I'm not there. I'm not in the business. These are all the very successful people of which I've heard of very little. But there are people who were successful to come through there. And someone who was outspoken on Twitter, surprisingly, was MJF. And he had a number of shitty things to say about the people from CZW. So much to say, like, the owner was just genuinely a really bad person. So it's kind of neat to see someone who is mostly known for not breaking character and break character, or find it even in the realm of, if you were even in character and said that person was a shitty person, what does that mean? But at the same time, he says Cody's a shitty person, and nobody's better than Cody. Cody's as nice as it gets. Cody, give us a sponsorship. What?
And more cigars.
And more cigars. Yeah, we got the thing. We promote Cody every week.
Can we try and get, like, Charles Wright to get us to sponsor us, like his club?
We're trying to get anyone to sponsor us.
Yeah, any sponsorship. I'll be down with that. Hey,
Charles Wright.
Pull some strings down at Bad Dragon. We got some of their merch. What? We got the glasses and stuff and the stickers. We got the pin. I should be wearing the pin right now. We get a sponsorship.
I'm trying to, but things over at Bad Dragon are tied in knots.
Sounds like a scaly situation.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, so Clump, what parts of NXT did you see? Well, was there anything else news-wise that came out? Those were the only things. The only other thing I heard about, and I really didn't read enough about it to say, hey, I got an opinion, was just that Mark Henry and Lio Rush were going back and forth again, and Mark Henry is seemingly very upset with Lio Rush, and Lio Rush just keeps talking, and I don't know. I didn't get too far into it to say this person is right or this person's wrong or it feels like this. It just seemed like a lot of shit throwing in the middle of Twitter, you know?
No, I didn't see too much of that and didn't jump into it too much. I've kind of not been a huge follower of Lio Rush. I admire the statement he made about his views of working in WWE, though I feel that people are complex, and what he said, since then, his actions, it makes it. I mean, it just seems like a weird fight, where people are people.
Yeah, it does.
So,
Aaron says in the chat that they should make a softcore championship belt, probably in CZW, and that we should get CCW to sponsor us. I think if they had a softcore title, I would definitely want them to sponsor me.
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't that what the X Division title is?
We have a new hardcore title.
Gross,
We're never going to put it on Clump. It's not, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a full penetration title. So, was there...
King of the cock ring.
So there really wasn't much else, to be honest, that I can think of news-wise that really came out. Other than, and I guess we'll talk about it when we get over to SmackDown, but other than the other release that happened. What were the parts of NXT that you watched, Clump?
Watching it, I saw the Gargano segment was really, really awesome. I saw the Cross video, which I liked a lot. I didn't see NXT last week, so seeing Cross, I was like, ooh, this is awesome. I saw his entrance this week, and I liked the video segment they did. I saw the Broserweights match, which thoughts on? Yeah, and I mean, I watched it, but those are the ones that really stuck, the parts that really stuck out to me.
You know what was weird to me is that, so the Garganos did their segment, DX did a segment, Killer Cross did a segment, I feel like Finn Balor did one.
Yeah.
And I think there was one other one. But the thing is, to me, like, as I was watching it, a lot of people were just so in love with the Gargano thing. And I felt like out of all the video packages they'd put together, that was the weakest one. Like, I think that one came off way too hard. But I know that people are liking what they're doing. I just think that it's a little... I don't know. It feels really hand-holding. Feels like the director's cut of Donnie Darko. It's like, oh, you're just trying to be a little bit more this or that, and you're really not letting anybody figure anything out. You're just like, let me really walk you through it, which maybe you need to do that sometimes, but it really didn't grasp me the same way as all the other video segments, including Killer Cross. The Cross segment I thought was fantastic, that video. And at first, I didn't think I was going to like it, to be honest, because as much as their entrance was cool, I do feel like Scarlett is a bit too much. The way she's running around and lip syncing and stuff, and I'm kind of like, meh, Just let me focus on the dude who looks like he's a monster and not the obvious eye candy for what that was. But then the video came out and I was really into it. I was like, it was really cool.
I mean,
Karrion Kross. That's what everybody says. What did you think about the Broserweights losing the title? That was probably the biggest thing to happen.
I'm kind of happy they did. I think the Broserweights without Pete Dunne, sorry, what name? Small English man that looks weird in his trunks. I think it's weird about him. Like, he looks weird in his fucking singlet.
He does. He looks weird.
It doesn't fit him right. He's got this weird skinny fat belly.
He's got kind of this 1950s swim team look.
Yes. He looks like he looks like People Magazine's like #1 sexiest guy in 1938 when it was just being alive.
Yeah.
Like,
but at the same time, I wouldn't want to fight him. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't want to fight a dude who walks around in a 100-year-old bathing suit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And so, but he's needed. I like the dynamic between him and Matt Riddle. I like more. I don't like throwing Thatcher in here, and he's supposed to be the champion. Like, it's very peculiar to me to have a sub in like this because it's not like a Freebirds rule. It's not like a New Day rule. That doesn't, to me, work when you can't establish a 3-person team in the middle of a run.
Yeah, it definitely came off weird.
Yeah.
I'm glad that if it went,
then why don't other tag teams pull like, okay, cool, well, John Cena's part of our tag team now.
Yeah. Guess what? The fact that they had to lose the title, I'm glad it went to Imperium. I really like Imperium. Everything they're doing. See, the Tegan Knox Indy Hartwell thing was decent. It was nice to see Indy Hartwell again since the squash on Raw. Let me see. The 205 stuff was all fine. But I did feel a little bit like this was, again, like a paint by numbers. I did not watch the Undisputed Era Zoom chat. Did you watch that?
No.
I saw that it was there and just fast forwarded through it. I didn't listen to a single word of it because I can't imagine giving any shits about it. Let's see. DX did their thing, which I thought was great. That's where they announced the NXT In Your House. Kevlar, you heard about this, right?
Nope.
There's going to be NXT TakeOver In Your House on June 7th. They brought back the logo.
House?
Yeah.
All right.
They brought back the old logo and everything, dude. So good.
Cool.
They should go back to the first one and like do a giveaway of a house.
Ooh, that'd be good. Let's see. Did you see the Balor Cameron Grimes stuff? Clop.
The Balor with
Cameron Grimes.
Yeah. I haven't seen too much of Cameron Grimes, so when he came out, I was like, this is interesting. Like, I like the gimmick. I like the match. I liked it overall. I feel like, because wasn't it that Karrion Kross came out to Balor last week? Like, no,
last week Karrion did his match, did his thing, and then afterwards Balor cut a promo because his whole thing is he can't figure out who attacked him, right? But we did see that Kross attacked Ciampa, so last week Balor cut a promo basically on Kross saying, if you're the one who attacked me, fuck you, dude. But this week we found out it wasn't him.
But it felt weird that it's like, so Finn Balor's facing everyone, and all of these guys are not really, like, Balor's not a super face here.
No.
Nobody's really a face. Everyone's kind of riding this line, which is neat, because then you can pick and have favorites and, you know, have some nuance to it, but it's a lot. It's really jumbled.
I feel like Finn Balor is the single best talent in all of wrestling right now at towing the line between the shades of gray of between a face and a heel, where you have like AEW saying that they weren't going to have traditional heels and faces,
And they have
it's made a
skills and faces.
Well, they have some, and then they have some. They had when they definitely first started. The whole first month was really messy of trying to figure out what the hell any of it was supposed to mean, and all the matches felt like they weren't getting any heat from anybody outside of the people who were going to give it what they wanted anyways. And so it made for a really murky time, like you said, where it's like I don't know who to root for or who to hate, and I don't know why I should care. Where I feel like Finn Balor's done a really good job knowing full well that people are excited to see him and coming off like a big enough dick that you like seeing him get one over, but also reminding you why he's your favorite, and so you get really excited when he wins at the same time. Like, I feel like he's done a really good job because it's never a question to me in the match who I'm supposed to be excited for. You know what I mean? Even when it was like him and Gargano, where it was kind of like, oh, maybe Gargano's going to get one over because Balor kicked him in the face for no damn reason. What a dick move. Get your come up, it's Gargano. And of course he didn't because he's Gargano and he can't win. And that's been his gimmick for years. And there's no fucking point to like him or root for him. And he can go fuck himself. The dude has a cup, a jock cup on his dinner table. Fuck that, dude. That's not a centerpiece. Especially from your little tiny dick, dude. Get a big old Ciampa cup and then we'll talk.
That's unsanitary. That's really. I looked over and I was like doing something else, and I was like,
one day I'm gonna meet Gargano. Someone's gonna play him that, and he's gonna be like, "Oh, cool," and he's just gonna like deck me right in the dick. And I'll be like, "It's fair, no fair play."
Just whenever we're at an event that he's there, just have cups on.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I thought it was like a sculpture of an alien.
Boom! Second cup.
Like the Sting mask thing from from TNA.
Yeah.
Took it off. Another cup. I thought it was a fucking like weird like alien sculpture. I was like, that's weird. And I was like, wait, no, that's a nut cup.
Yeah, it was a nut cup. It was because it's from that stupid match he had with Ciampa, where at the end of it she comes out, punches Gargano in the dick, and he's like, my dick. And then Ciampa's like, let me hold you and kiss you on the cheek and tell you it's all gonna be okay. And so they do. They make out, and then Gargano knees him in the balls and then takes out his cup and smells it, and he's like, yeah, it's good. And then Candice is like, and I was like, this was great. Classic. I'll watch it over and over. And now he has dinner tables with his cup sitting on the fucking middle of the dinner table, dripping sweat. What's up?
Still dripping sweat.
Bro, he's a subscriber to the show. Thanks for tuning in, Gargano. Friend of the show. Team favorite.
If Gargano maybe he collects cups, and if that's the case, based on like wrestling mythology, he needs to have Shelton Benjamin's cup or Batista's cup because they have the storied legends.
I would want him also to have that chest plate that Bret Hart had when Goldberg speared him, and he pulled out that huge plate because also that probably it was probably also covering Bret Hart's giant dick.
It wasn't a chest plate. It was just one big cup.
It wasn't meant to go all the way to his chest, but how else are you going to cover it?
I thought you were going to say it has like an imprint of Goldberg's dick on it somewhere.
Yeah, it's probably got a small dent.
Yeah.
Little ding.
It's got a dent on it from Vince Russo's raging erection at the thought of how well this is going to do.
This is going to be great.
We're going to win, brother.
His first cut, like Scrooge's dime. Oh, he says like Scrooge's first dime. It's his first cut. Scrooge saved his first nickel he made.
I'm just picturing like a Scrooge McDuck of like cups. It's like, look at this, and he dives into a room that just smells like vinegar and bleach.
Doing the backstroke through cups.
Oh, your mansion. Yes, I got all this. And you just walk around. Why does it fucking smell weird? What is this? It smells sour.
It's got a funk,
and
right?
Here's my fortune.
Got that puppet funk.
Oh, fuck.
Really cool place you got here. Smells a bit like prison, but otherwise, it's really nice. Let's see. So I am kind of excited about Finn Balor versus Damian Priest, and I did think that Cameron Grimes, that was probably his best match I've seen so far. Let's see.
Good for him.
Yeah. We had Jack Gallagher and Swerve, which was fine. I'm just going to go through here real quick. Caden Carter and Aaliyah. I wish I gave a shit about Robert Stone, dude.
Oh.
Yeah.
I hear nice things about him. I hear he's actually a really cool dude. I cannot give a shit about his storyline at all.
Yeah, I get you there. And it didn't sell me as somebody who's not been following it. I'm like, oh, okay, this is a thing. Also, gentleman Jack Gallagher, he looks like a rough and tumble Ed Sheeran.
Yeah, he's kind of an evil Santa. With that little red coat he's got. I don't like his tattoos, dude. They all look like they came straight off a Sailor Jerry bottle, and I'm not a big fan of that style of lick and paste tattoo. You know what I mean?
American traditional?
This looks British traditional, like the old Americas. You know what I mean?
That's a T ship on his chest. British traditional.
That's a T ship? It's not a slave ship? I know there's a lot of discussion there. I'm pretty sure it's T. I'm just fucking around. That's not at all the case. It's from the Boston Tea Party. We know what side he's on.
You made half the hair on my face stand up.
That's pretty good. Yeah, I don't like those. I don't like that style. So I'm really bummed out because I really liked his look before, and I saw it, and I was like, oh shit, he's got some big old tattoos. Dude's gonna look like a badass. I was like, what's that little boat? I feel like a little boat and a little sad cat. Like
Shit, it's not a boat. It's shit.
He's got like a little boat.
No.
And it looks like if Kevlar's kid drew it. You know what I mean? It's all like flat. There's no like 3D to it. You know what I mean? But it's just like stretched out.
It has sexy bitch on it. It's like Vince's yacht.
People really like that style.
Aaron says that no one likes those tattoos. He says it in the chat. If he says it in the chat, it's true.
It's true.
I think they just don't fit him. Like, and I know that you can be different than your character, but they really don't fit him. Like, I wanted them to be weird and quirky. I wanted it to be like keep calm and carry on, just tattoo down his chest. Something weird, like a giant fucking Union Jack. Like something more like him, and it just looks generic as shit.
If it was more Carney style stuff, like I don't know, this guy comes off to me as like super traditional and like like pulled straight out of the carnival and into a ring. I think I'd be more excited if it was kind of like, you know, Creepy Clowns or some like Coney Island style artwork. I'd be like, oh shit, this guy's like circus shit going on. But it's not what I get from him. I get like, oh, did you draw that? Let's see, it's the Santa Maria. Saw those a lot in Hawaii. What, shitty tattoos? That's a horrible thing to say.
It's the Santa Maria. You mean one of the ships that went to the wrong continent?
Yeah, but for T. It's Santa Maria.
Okay.
For the T.
He is also gonna deck you too. He's gonna watch this.
Yeah. This is the show where I draw the line in the sand and I say, if you're a WWE superstar, top or bottom, fuck you, dude. I dare you to fight me. And then we play this back at my funeral when they all beat the shit out of me for the right reasons.
I'm cool with you doing it because I can point to you, and I'm also significantly larger than everyone we're making fun of thus far. So I'll just fall on them.
Yeah. Good luck.
Yeah, I'm a good like Gargano and a half.
That's true. Let's see. It looks like someone's tattoo got tattooed on the wrong figure. Yeah. It's the kind of thing where it's like when your friend shows you a tattoo, they're super excited, and you go, "Those are really clean lines." You went to like a pretty like. He's probably been tattooing a while. But that's all you can say about their tattoo? Because it just looks that stupid.
No, it's one of those ones where like you look at it like and it's like, that'll be awesome. And it's your like the first time you ever see tattoos and you just stay on it.
Yeah. Let me see here. But, I mean, he seems like a really good guy and like his wrestling style, so.
I wonder if those tattoos came with a bottle of Sailor Jerry.
Or do they
Maybe
give you a
that's
discount?
how he got a sponsorship.
Yeah, he probably got sponsored.
He pulled the sticker off the Sailor Jerry bottle.
Yeah. And he just rubbed it on his chest. Let me see. That's kind of what I really thought about NXT. To be honest, a lot of wrestling this week.
What's up, GR Lunar?
Is it? Yeah.
How you doing, boss?
Yeah, GR Lunar's back in the house. What's up, GR Lunar? What's up? What up?
Yeah, we don't know what's happening with Plump.
What do you mean? You're lucky he's right side up. I knew he was coming in sideways for a while.
Yeah, what's up with his beard? We don't know.
What do you mean?
He shaved half of his face and left.
No, it just grows in from left to right. That's all.
Gross.
Yeah.
It's a fade.
Yeah. It grows in that way. Starts off on one side and eventually gets its way to the other. A lot of people go from, in to out. His goes left to right.
Yeah. I commit felonies running this way.
Yeah.
And then I come back to the scene. What's that? Over there. Whoa.
That's true. We could do one of those like jump cut clips, but without actually doing a jump cut.
I was 50-50 on shaving one of my eyebrows, but I figured that's a bridge too far.
Oh. I mean, you look 50-50 on the shaving thing altogether. It almost came off like you were going to say, like, I was 50-50 on if I wanted to shave my beard or not, so I just did the 50. I did the 50 that felt like I wanted it and left the 50 that didn't.
No,
right?
I wish this was planned. I was just trimming up like how it grows here, and it went in too far, and I'm like, fuck it, let's do something fun now, because today's ruined.
Yeah. Today's ruined.
It was great. I walked out to my wife in the living room drinking coffee. As I walked out, she did spit it all over the TV. Just boom. Yes.
See, you ruin everything in the house from other people spilling on your behalf.
Yeah.
They run in the family.
Yeah. Let me see. So I felt like NXT was another victim of what I feel like the problem with Raw was overall, was that I'm getting really tired of the matchups you guys have. It really feels like you only have 6 or 7 people and you're trying to figure out how to keep it fresh every week between those couple people, and I'm just not interested at this point. And I felt like a lot of NXT was like, okay, they put on good matches and it looks like they really focused on Thatcher and Matt Riddle. Unfortunately, I don't give two shits about Matt Riddle. Even though I hear he's got a monster hog, I just don't care about his character at all. I'm not into stoner comedy, regardless of the size of his hog, which here's huge. But there's only so much that could be interesting at that point with Thatcher,
Wait, which one's got the monster hog?
That'd be Matt Riddle. Matt Riddle and his monster hog.
Bro.
Keep talking like that. We'll be sponsored by Matt Riddle.
Yeah. Oh, GR Lunar's asking who doesn't have a monster hog. He must have missed the beginning part of the show. We talked about Gargano's tiny little dick. We talked about Goldberg having a puny wiener. That's why he compensates. Who else had the cups?
Yeah, I said Batista and Shelton Benjamin. He needs to collect their cups because legend.
He just needs their cups because they're giant hogs.
I positioned that the Bret Hart chest plate.
Lunar says, "Oh shit, this thing was a topic." Yeah, we talked about the Bret Hart chest plate being actually also just a large cup because his dick goes all the way up.
With a separate tiny bump from Vince Russo getting excited about it.
Yeah, Vince Russo's tiny little wiener. Yeah, dude, it's all in there. We try and cover everything on the show. Mm-hmm. We don't want to leave things out. We don't want people keep guessing or what side of the fence are we on. We leave it out there, we're honest.
We let it all hang out.
Yeah, he says it makes perfect sense about Bret. Let's see. So, Kevlar, you did not watch any of AEW?
Nope.
Clump, Before we break down AEW, what did you think of AEW overall this week?
I felt mixed.
You felt mixed? I felt like this week was much better than last week.
I know, and that's why I was thinking it's weird that you messaged me saying this is awesome, and then I watched it. I was like, man,
I didn't say it was awesome. I said it was much better than last week. Which last week I was like, this shit's unwatchable. What the fuck is happening in my life?
Okay, it went from it was a fatal car wreck, whereas last week was one of those ones where like 50 cars pile up.
Yeah, last week was so bad. Now there was stuff in here. Let me see. Jake and Murder Hawk, Cody Rhodes. What the fuck? Was that this? Oh yeah, where Cody comes driving in and chases at him.
That annoyed the shit out of me.
Me too. Yeah, come the fuck out of here. Like, you're starting the show, he goes out there, and I'm meant to believe that Cody's not there yet.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are way too fucking open about these people's backstage responsibilities for me to buy into some of this shit.
Even without that, I didn't even think that far into my disbelief being just like, fuck this shit. Like, there is no suspension of disbelief because, to me, when at WrestleMania, John Cena, that's the last big car angle I think of where he, revs his motor, does a burnout, blows through glass. It's a set piece. When Stone Cold would drive in, there'd be this established thing of like, well, he's not here.
Yeah.
Starting it with it, and then your camera cuts to him revving the motor on this truck, which you've established is an incredibly rare and expensive truck. So he revs it, taps a barricade. That I was like, get the fuck out of here. I almost stopped watching when he tapped the barricade because I was like, just get his ass another car.
Yeah.
You need to learn one thing from WWE, and it's this. People don't know shit about cars. Lie.
Yeah. Yes.
Lie and say, this is important to him. Because it's only me who's like, Roman Reigns doesn't drive a Hyundai Sonata, but then maybe it's a rental.
Yeah.
Or Vince McMahon's priced Corvette, which is a 15-year-old base model, not desirable shit Corvette. Okay.
Yeah, it had like a bad paint job and everything.
Stone Cold knows about cars because he is being a volunteer mechanic right now.
Stone Cold's volunteering mechanics?
Yeah. He wants to learn, so he's actually at a shop learning how to like work on cars.
Can you imagine?
How cool is that?
You're a mechanic and then Stone Cold comes in. Hey boss, I want to know how you do that. I just think I'm going to hang around the shop for a while and figure out how you do what you do. You think you can teach me? What?
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 You said you want a 10mm socket? What?
GR Lunar says that there's a rule Vince has where you can't be main eventing WrestleMania with an average hog. I do think, unless you're saying that it can't be solely an average hog, that a very tiny hog could also main event, I would think the exception to the rule would be The Miz. Anyways.
I was about to make that joke. I was also going to say, we had that three-way women's main event. Huge hogs.
Oh, the women had bigger dicks than The Miz, I'll give him that. Yeah. For sure.
Becky takes Seth, and Becky gets what Becky wants.
That's right.
Yeah.
Let me see. Okay, so Jurassic Park versus Best Friends. I kind of didn't watch, but I didn't see anything that outright pissed me off. But I wasn't focused. What was big on here that mattered? John Moxley shows up. Oh, the Moxley thing with Brody Lee. Like, all of that storyline, I think comes off super amateurish, man. And it just comes off like mid-card shit.
Yeah, I could give a shit about the Moxley-Brody Lee feud. To me, it feels like the only benefit is that, well, let's get rid of it now because we have them in. But then when we say that, in the saying, well, it's over now, we can just do it. Okay, well, then why do it at all?
Yeah. I think they've just done such a piss poor job of building Brody Lee into a character that people give a shit about that by having him walk around with a title the way it is, it just comes off a lot like, hey, it's my friend. He's never been in a world title picture. Let's show him he's at the top right away. and it really comes off with nobody's on top is how it feels.
Yes. Or it comes off like TNA or WCW. You were on top somewhere else, or you were near this bigger promotion. Look at this.
But it doesn't even come off that way, because when WCW did it, it was with guys like Bret Hart and Lex Luger and Hulk Hogan and former world champions. They're doing it with fucking... I mean, as much as I love Cody Rhodes, he was fucking Stardust, man. You know what I mean? Like, you did it with Stardust. You did it with the Bludgeon Brother. You know what I mean? Who was the other guy they got over there right now that...
Jake Hager and Matt Hardy.
Hager.
I mean...
Yeah, you got Hager. You know what I mean? Like, you're not doing it with, like, main event players the way that those guys did. You're taking main event... You're taking people who were never utilized on the main event, and instead of showing how your promotion could build them into that because they have the talent to do that, you're just putting them there. And that's not the same thing. It doesn't feel the same. It just feels like, oh, it's because you're friends with somebody who never quite made it. You're just going to go ahead and put them on top now because they're your friend and you feel bad they never quite made it and you think that they're good. Instead of having them show and prove how they're good enough for you to say, fuck, WWE misused all these people, you just really feel like, oh, all these people left and they're just playing with some other title now. Like, it doesn't come off as like a legitimate heavyweight championship at this point to me.
To me, like, what I would say, and it makes me feel like, and this is as the fan, I wonder if the way that they book is they say, okay, well, how do you want to do this? Like, what do you wish you could do? Like, they give the talent the ability to have more voice in it.
Yeah.
Okay. And I feel like what's happening, they hope it comes to compelling stories, but I wonder, is it talent saying, well, and then I go for the title?
Yeah.
I think the challenge here is, how can you get over without going near a title, or how can you get yourself over? Cody, to his credit, I will say, in WWE, he put himself into his roles. He got frustrated. He left. He made something of himself, and he's done it. And he's really kicked ass. And I think he would be an asset to any promotion. He proved that.
I agree.
I see these other people, and Cody, maybe
I feel like you could. I feel like you could have. Cody proved that you can do it on that way, and it can be done. I feel like Cody's the only guy there that you watch, and you say he could be in a WrestleMania match with Triple H next year, and I would believe it. I don't feel that with the other guys. Moxley, I do. I feel like you could do it with Moxley because he was big enough on WWE for long enough, but I don't feel that with Jericho. I don't feel that with Hager. I don't feel that with Brody. And I want them to build those guys so I can feel like, fuck, this is a big match. We're getting Brody Lee, who's only been away from the WWE for a few months, and goddamn, he's already got a title shot. I want to feel excited about that instead of feeling like, why is this happening?
Well, when you say that about Moxley, I feel Moxley could be there, but it's also based off what he did before. Moxley's had impact, but I feel like more and more of what he's done here has been less impactful and less explorative. Like, it feels like it's Jon Moxley, which, there's something to be said about going back to form, but it also doesn't work here. There's ways to do it differently. I don't feel like it. I feel like he's the example of being, like, his success is self-evident.
Yeah.
And it's self-evident because of where he came from prior, and that shouldn't be the case. It should be, look at what he's done. And it doesn't feel like that. It just feels like, of course he's the biggest guy. Not really. Yeah. Like, tell me why. Act like I don't know a shit about these people, and tell me why I should care.
Exactly. Well, I haven't watched in a few weeks, and so what did Brody Lee do to earn his title shot?
Okay, so Moxley had a match, and he won, and then a bunch of the guys from the Dark Order came out and, like, basically laid on top of him, and then Brody Lee came over and took the title and just left with it. And then Moxley said, if you wanted a title shot, all you had to do was ask. And then they all just left with the title, and that was it. Now he gets a shot at the title, but he's carrying it around too.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't like it. I don't like it also because what Brody Lee's vignettes have been alluding to so stupidly and frustrating to me has been, his character is the perception of Vince McMahon to people who don't like Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
His character is Vince McMahon to smart-ass fans who really don't like Vince McMahon. And the reason I don't like it is yeah, there's a bunch of weird shit about Vince McMahon. He's a weird ass character. Do more with it.
Yeah.
Expand. But it feels like it's just playing off very simple tropes. And it's so rapid, too. It doesn't...
And
Good.
I was just going to say, the one episode I watched, recently, it showed that Heisman hopeful and, that he got recruited and stuff like that. And like I said, I made the reference to the Foot Clan from Ninja Turtles. And to me, I was like, all right, this would be cool if they kept it up. And it almost seems like Seth Rollins has been doing that with the Monday Night Messiah stuff now.
There's a crossover with the Ninja Turtles and the Ku Klux Klan?
Kinda.
Huh? There's...
I
just heard the Ninja Turtles and the Klan. I was like, what?
I said the Foot Clan.
Yeah, but they did hate the green people.
I imagine both would.
Yeah.
But, it looked like they were taking the Outcast and stuff like that and the Force. Brody Lee was.
Yeah.
And I think, he could have done something with that, but now it's just, now he's in the title picture. I think, like Marsh said, you build these guys up into some kind of character and some kind of, role and go from there, just not immediate.
Yeah. Yeah.
I almost wonder if, are there separate booking committees for titles versus, a general TV production thing? Because it feels so weird that the build for the TNT title and the secondary kind of titles is better or has, a consistent story. Like, the ring thing that MJF did, stupid as hell, but it had a consistent story and it worked for the idea of that heel character being done. With the TNT title, it's really built up Lance Archer quite a bit. I like that.
Yeah.
It feels weird. And then when I see the people going for the secondary title, I'm like, wait, why are you guys going for this? To me, this feud and what Brody Lee's doing, that makes sense. For a secondary title. Have him come out and say, I talked to the people at TNT. We're doing this. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That could be okay, neat. But having him go straight for the world title, and, and it also goes back to, I'm really not a fan of, challenge me for my belt, to come get me champions more and more.
Yeah, I'm really not liking it at all. I wish that there was almost any champion who would say, what have you done to earn it? I think the fact that Moxie's just all you got to do is ask undermines the title as well. It's all oh yeah, this thing that I worked so hard for, whatever. No, show me that you want it as bad as I wanted it. I went straight to the top guy on night one and smashed his head into a bunch of poker chips. What did you do, Brody? You went over there and you told the dude to leave while you ate your steak because he sneezed. You haven't done shit since you've been here. You give a big boot to a couple people who no one knows their name. You're not doing shit, Brody. Do something. Make me feel like you deserve this and, earn it.
What's Brody win-loss record?
What's Brody what?
What's his record? His win-loss record?
He's won them all.
Undefeated.
Yeah, it's 4 wins against jobbers. There's no name of which he's defeated.
Yeah. And even with that, if we're going to have a champion who's I'll fight anyone, fighting anyone and fighting anyone for my title is very different to me.
That's true.
That'd be cool, I'll fight anyone. And then have him be oh, cool, you beat me? Now you get a chance at the title. Or, I'll fight you. Have somebody come up and they'll be I'll fight anyone. But you got to earn this.
Yeah.
And then, that way, you could also have your champion get some wins and build up a record without jeopardizing and burying other talent for title belts.
It's true. Yeah, and you can build up people, too, as having a potential shot at it. You know what I mean? Look, this is a champion without a perfect record. But when the time comes and the title's on the line, he does not stop, And you can have those whole fucking things with, this is the champion giving up because he wants to live to fight another day. I mean, he knows the title's not on the line, so it doesn't matter to him as much. I mean, those whole stories you can still play off of, and they're just not. As I look at the rest of the card for the night, I realized what you were so upset about. Because, let's see, after that we got Pineapple Pete versus Chris Jericho. That match was awful. And then they did that stupid promo with the fucking drone. And Jericho smashes the drone, and I'm supposed to give a shit. I can't stand any of that, man.
So, I saw something that made me laugh my ass off. Holy shit, my wife got toilet paper.
Nice.
Sorry.
Well done.
Inside Christmas, I've just been showering and doing handstands.
Dude, that's the way, man. Wait, then it just goes down, though.
No, handstand. You do a handstand in the shower.
Yeah, but then your head is down and the water's coming down.
I don't have my mouth open.
Oh my god, why are we here?
That's also why
But you can't, like, close your nose.
Stop it. This
You get, like, the swim plugs. That's why I thought it was so easy to get swim plugs. And I thought, I'm smarter than people. Swim plugs, handstand, do that.
Why we lost a viewer?
We didn't lose a viewer.
We did.
No, they'll be back. They froze.
Yeah. We're not losing them. They're going to Target to get some goggles that cover their nose.
Yeah, they're gonna learn from
We're
the
in
whole
a
thing.
crisis.
No.
And
There's
helping.
also a good possibility they're subscribing to our YouTube right now. They're probably checking out WrestlingOnTheRocks.com, picking up a shirt from
They're
Pro
buying some
Wrestling
shirts.
Tees. Yeah, getting a shirt from Pro Wrestling Tees /Wrestling on the Rocks. It's just normal. That's just what happens.
Yeah. We're going to Amazon link you the nose plug I got.
Yeah.
Our new shirt's going to be clump upside down.
Yeah.
No.
Our new shirt's going to be a nose plug and just brown specks in a beard. So
It's gonna be one of
what I
those
was gonna say-
cartoon showers
I
where
was
it's like the
watching this-
tub with the shower curtain, and you can see 2 feet coming over the top.
Oh, yes.
Gross.
Oh, yes, Wrestling on the Rocks. Get
Crisis
down with Wrestling
avoided.
on the Rocks.
Wow. Yeah. Crisis avoided.
Oh, we're doing this.
Definitely losing
But-
viewers.
God damn it, I keep losing my train of thought. So I watched the supercut on YouTube where they had put the Jackass, like the Jackass video or the theme over a bunch of shit from AEW, and it was significantly better.
What is it?
It made so much more sense.
That's funny. You have to send me that video.
And they had Jericho smashing the drone. I'm like, yes.
Yeah, 100%.
Did it start off with, "Hi, I'm Cody Rhodes. Welcome to AEW"?
Funny.
They should have done that, and they could have done that from maybe the first night, because I'm sure they said "Welcome to AEW," and then the first shot was fucking Cody taking that dive over the rope and just bashing his fucking head. Like, oh no.
Oh, dude. Yeah, look, I'm looking over. We got Proud and Powerful against Kenny Omega and Matt Hardy. I didn't give too many shits about that. Matt Hardy was kind of weird in there.
You didn't have to shower after that one.
Yeah, Taz, that's true. It wasn't awful, but, I didn't think, like, oh, hey, we definitely got to check this out. With Taz and his Darby Allin thing, I'm starting to lose interest in that.
Yeah.
Nyla Rose attacking Hikaru Shida with a stick. I'm really not into Nyla Rose in general.
Oh, that was so bad.
It comes off so scripted and shit,
Yeah, it was like, I have something for you. What? It just is so dumb.
Yeah.
How is this better than last week?
Well, I don't know. I remember last week just really having a hard time getting through it. And this one I was able to sit through the whole thing.
Defend this shit.
MJF.
I know, you
I
literally
thought-
like, this sucked, this sucked, this
Yeah.
sucked. It was better last week.
I think is that this week it came off like no one was just absolute like indie shit, but it was super typical wrestling shit. It was like, this is what we think wrestlers are like. It wasn't like, this is what we are, who I am, or what my character would do. It was, I'm a wrestler, and this is my wrestler talk. This is how wrestlers say things, and this is how a wrestler gets mad. Like, it felt like a bunch of people playing wrestling Where the week before it felt like a bunch of kids fucking off in general. And it's all like, there's a ring in there, you know? So it wasn't like, I guess it wasn't a lot better. Jericho and Matt Hardy. Mike Tyson's going to be at Double or Nothing now.
All right.
It's finally
Another
happening.
WWE Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Wait, is he in the Hall of Fame?
I think so.
Yeah, celebrity wing, right?
Yeah. Because he had a huge part in the Monday Night Wars, as it were. Let me see. Exalted One versus Christopher Lee. Or Christopher Daniels. After the match, the fun begins? What the fuck? Brody Lee and Moxley. Yeah, no. We talked about all that shit. Not really into it. I don't really care. So they got a pay-per-view this weekend, Saturday, Double or Nothing, $50. The big match, there's the big ladder match, which everyone's talking about with a bunch of people, and it's for a number one contendership. But the thing is, it doesn't matter because all you got to do is ask. They've made that very clear. There's no point in winning a match. You can just actually just ask.
Just steal the title and ask.
Yeah.
That would be a really like meta storyline of just like win, and then the other guy just goes over to him and says, "Hey, fucker, I want to fight you." Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Next
and then
week.
the guys.
Yeah. No, come on.
God damn it.
Yeah. But the big one, the main event, is supposed to be Brody Lee versus Moxley for the title. Am I meant to believe that I think this is going to go a certain way? Am I meant to think that this is an exciting match? Like,
Yeah.
This feels like Dean versus Luke. This doesn't feel like a Mox versus a contender. You know what I mean? So, do you think you're gonna check it out, Clump?
Nope.
Wow, that's surprising.
It's my wife's birthday.
No, you're like you were the AEW #1 fan a year ago. That's
Correspondent.
I've been told on around my wife's birthday, I'm not allowed to be a wrestling fan.
Boo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last year, when I found out that Double or Nothing was happening during in Las Vegas during Comic-Con, and I said, "Hey, maybe we could do this." I got beat, but I need to be quiet because she might hear this, and then I'll get beat again.
Yeah, deservedly so.
So you're whispering?
Yeah. Aaron brings up a good point. It sounds a lot like Money in the Bank. I think it is something like 8 people in a ladder match for a number one contender spot. So it really could be like Money in the Bank. He says they should do it at the top of a WWE building.
Illegally?
Yeah. Just in general.
You have to break into the WWE headquarters and make it to the top.
That's
Yeah.
really fun.
Yeah, you gotta break in first. It doesn't start on the first floor. It starts outside the gate.
We're here outside of just a security guard, guys. You gotta leave, and then politely they do.
Aaron's got a question for Clump directly. Do you love your wife or your life?
Ooh.
So there's that. It's hard to argue that you're going to be missing. Now, here's the deal. It's the low price of $50. So at 4 shows a month, you'll pay significantly more than you pay for the WWE Network now. And there's more. You only get to watch that shit once for like 5 days, and then it's gone forever. And if you want to watch it again, no problem. Another $50. They'll leave it up there for that. But your purchase disappears. So I say do it. I say buy them all. Spend $200 a year watching 4 shows one time. I'm going to go ahead and hold on to the network instead.
Fight.
What?
Fight.
Kevlar, what'd you think of SmackDown? Unless there's anything else you want to say about AEW. Anything left in AEW there, Clump?
Not really, dude, honestly.
I think part of their thing, too, is I think that there's a possibility that they are also beholden to only letting a few people wrestle instead of really expanding. But they've been having an issue with that since before the pandemic. I can't really give them that as a bypass.
Yeah.
But at the same time, AEW has the other talent in the audience.
Yeah.
Whereas I think WWE, the talent's not even in the same state.
Yeah, they're not there. All right.
Wait. Plump. If it was not your wife's birthday on Saturday, would you be paying for it? And watching the paper?
I'd probably figure out something else to spend $50 on.
Wow. Okay. All right.
It's not, and it's more. I'm not like. Then we get to what this event is, and yeah, like last year, I could make an argument for the event. Like, yeah, that's cool. Nothing here makes sense. They haven't done shit to build it.
Yeah.
And I know things are weird, but they haven't done shit to build it. Like I was like, wait, they're doing this still? I thought we just talked about they canceled the event.
Yeah, I thought it was canceled too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's nothing.
I feel like Klump would easily find himself at bad-dragon.com to find another way to utilize $50 in one spot, but he can watch more than once.
You clearly don't know shit about their products. That ain't gonna get you much.
Doesn't get you much? All right, never mind.
No, their shit's expensive.
Okay. Let's see. So, Kevlar, what'd you think of SmackDown?
This whole week just seemed like it was kind of It was there.
Yeah. I think this can't be the right show. Oh, wait, yeah. Yeah. This is the right one. Yeah, I felt like this whole week I think we've gotten to a point where they're recycling so much of such a small talent that it's starting to really hurt them. Where for a while it was like, this is cool, it's exciting to see them use new people we haven't seen, and really it's probably because of the travel issues the big stars were having and stuff, where it's gotten to the point now where you're just kind of like, okay, I'm starting to feel a real lack of star power. I'm starting to feel real repetitiveness. I'm starting to feel like a real stretching thin on it is where I'm starting to get. There was still, though, a lot of stuff in SmackDown I did like. If I had to pick my favorite show of the week between all of them, I'd say it was probably SmackDown. I just typically enjoy that show more. But it started off with Miz TV, with Miz and Morrison talking to Otis in what was probably the shittiest Miz TV of all the shitty Miz TVs.
Yeah. Sorry, I just flashed back to it.
Yeah. It was really upsetting for a producer. Yeah. Producer usually really likes Miz and Miz TV, and she was like really bothered by this one. She was like, this was awful. She's like, it feels like, I don't know, you can say what you want about it.
And Otis. This was the first time I was genuinely wondering who wrote this, because it sounded like a dude who was like, oh, just talk like a typical dude, and it was so it felt generic to me, and uninteresting, and just I kind of just didn't want to watch. I just turned away. I was doing other stuff.
Hell yeah. That's Aaron
what you
says
do when it's on TV.
Exactly. That's why Aaron calls it Miss TV. Zinger.
Must miss TV.
Yep. Let's see. We had Elias versus Corbin. What's up?
One thing about that is I was surprised that they didn't call it the Miz and Morrison show or whatever the hell that thing is called. The Hollywood Minute or whatever.
Oh, Dirt Sheet.
Dirt Sheet, that's it.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. They should have, because especially with as much as Morrison was talking on it, it clearly wasn't just Miz TV. So it really was more of that shit. Let's see. We had, in the first match for the IC tournament, we had Elias versus Corbin. I thought that was a really good match. I thought that was a hell of a way to start off the bracket, because it was also like, man, I could see either one of these dudes going further down the line. And let's see. After the Corbin took control, and Corbin beat Elias. Did Elias win?
Yeah, I thought so.
Oh, yeah. That's right. This doesn't have the results on it. What the fuck?
Elias beat Corbin with a roll-up after the guitar shot. Honestly, I hated this.
Why did you hate Elias getting a win?
Or just move?
I'm just getting tired of the feud. I'm really tired of the feud because it feels like they keep pulling it up in... like at random times, and I can see it just keep going and going and going, and it's it just doesn't feel like they're investing in it enough to make it worth doing this. You know what I mean?
I did feel like I wasn't excited about the match going into it and didn't give a shit, but I thought this was probably the best match that the two of them have had thus far. And that's what I thought was really good, was that what a good way to do it with a tournament. You know what I mean? Because you pit them together one more time, they get to work together one more time, and we may be tired of it, but they put on a really good performance on that one. I felt like it was the best match between the two of them, even including the one at Mania, which I thought was fine, but didn't think it was like above and beyond like expectations. This was one where I was not looking forward to it and thought, you know what, that was pretty solid.
Well, I like that both the IC matches ended without finishers.
Yeah, it's true. Where AEW is starting to stack their finishers to get a win. Bitches.
I mean, there's two ways to go. Either finishers don't mean, like, because finishers don't mean shit. Either you do 30 of them, or you just like, well, let's figure out other things.
Yeah. Although I always go back to like 96, 97, and the amount of matches you can watch that were not on pay-per-view with like Shawn Michaels or Stone Cold, where you just don't see the super kick, you just don't see the stunner, because they had other ways to finish a match, and they saved those moves for the big matches. So it was like not only was it protected in that if I did it, you're not kicking out, but if I need it, I better fucking need it, you know?
I feel like the evolution of wrestling since then has been like, it went from like, well, we keep the finishers for like the pay-per-view events to sell them in, and then it went to like, well, for a period, just false finishes.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to see a match to end this feud until the pay-per-view. Just, we can see matches that are consequential on TV. You know?
Yeah,
it makes it special.
Oh, Dork Chop just made it. Late to the party. What's going on, gang? Getting some video editing done. Very good. Thanks for stopping by, coming through. We got a new t-shirt coming out. It should be up for this weekend's sale, so you might want to check it out.
Maybe 2 t-shirts.
I only have 4 spots. I got to sell more shirts before they give me a 5th spot. Let's see. So Naomi versus Damien Brooke, I thought was a good match. I'm curious where they go with Naomi. She was getting all fucking pissed off, and I thought we could maybe see a heel turn on Naomi.
I was gonna say I'd be really interested into a heel Naomi.
That's where the Feel the Glow started from. Was that she had glow shoes on, and she's like, "I'm gonna make your face feel the glow," and it was like basically saying, "I'm gonna kick you in the fucking face." And you're like, "Oh shit, that's awesome!" But then it became like, "Don't outshine my glow."
She doesn't do that.
What?
She does not do that.
I think it.
Whatever that
I think
is.
it'd be cool. Like, heel Naomi like comes out in certain cities and it's like just comes out normal, like a mundane ass entrance. It's like, nah, you don't get it.
Oh, it does the old Dolph Ziggler, the record scratches.
Fuck this.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dork Chop.
Dork Chop subscribed. Woo!
Yeah.
Bah, 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 bah. Woo!
Get the cash blaster.
I just got it. I can't do too much of it. I get in trouble a lot.
Oh my god.
I get yelled at. I get faces. I get people going, saying mean things to me all night, yelling at me from the kitchen.
You gotta sleep on the couch.
It's got that 24/7
Me and Mark
title.
spend evenings at the battered men's shelter.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Jimmy Hart.
That's how you guys met, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What with Jimmy Hart?
He mentioned that he'd like to see Naomi and Bianca.
Jimmy Hart said he would like to see Naomi versus Bianca.
I think it was on his Twitter. I want to say I saw that somewhere.
That's interesting. I think it'd be cool for sure. Let's see.
Kind of random, but yeah.
Yeah, I just,
Like Jimmy Hart?
yeah, that's what I mean. It seems really random. I don't hear him say much about current product almost ever, except that he loves wrestling. But let's see. What do you guys think of the Charlotte Flair segment with Sasha and Bayley?
The segment was good. I absolutely hated that they kept saying NXT champion Charlotte coming from Raw.
Yeah.
They got on my nerves, and they said it like 4 or 5 times, and that like pissed me off. I'm like, she's the fucking NXT champion. She's coming from NXT.
I feel like we've definitely gotten to a point of overexposure with Charlotte Flair.
Like, I agree with Kevin. It felt like, to me, it felt like just getting all the brands in one sentence, and it just felt frustrating. Like,
yeah, it's shitty. Aaron does say, though, he thinks that Bianca versus Naomi would be a good match. And, yeah, absolutely. I think it'd be an incredible match.
I think it was on Backstage. He was on their, like, Zoom or whatever.
Oh, that's neat.
He mentioned it. Yeah, that's what it was.
He was on Backstage. That's cool. But, yeah, going back to this, I think at this point I've reached the point of overexposure with Charlotte. I'm never excited to see her. I don't give a shit what she has to say. I don't like watching her just bury everybody. And I will say this, is that you don't have to win the match and make your opponent look like shit, but that is an option. And it's the option she goes for the most. Not always, but the most. Io looked like shit in the match with Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Like, there's nothing about... Oh, Mia Yim looked like garbage in the match with Charlotte. Charlotte's making sure that she looks absolutely incredible in every match. Doesn't care what it does to the other person. She made Ruby Riott look like shit. And it was really frustrating.
Especially...
See,
no, I was going to let producer go.
When you compare that to what we saw with Natty on Raw, the past 2 times we've seen Natty,
Yeah.
in comparison to that, making someone look good.
Yeah. I think that... I thought Natty and Shayna that happened on Raw was maybe the best women's match of the week.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, and I think that also that you can have a win and other people look great. Like, I mean, look at Bayley. She's been winning for over a year, and every time she's in a match with someone, you always think that person looked fucking great.
Yeah.
You know? Becky made other people look great. So I was bummed for Ruby.
One person doesn't have to make the other look great. Really, the goal of the match should be both people making each other look great. And it feels like, in the case of Charlotte, both people are making Charlotte look great, and it just is so goddamn terrible. Like, it doesn't feel like...
Exactly.
It feels masturbatory. Like, it feels like a practice of, like, this is all to benefit me. And it is utterly unnecessary. Charlotte is a dominant persona in wrestling. She's a big monster. You know, she's arguably the GOAT of the women's division in wrestling to some people.
Yeah.
We need to build people who are competitive against her and scare her, or else we're going to get stuck in a situation we've done with the men's division very rapidly, which is, okay, it's like 5 people that are competitive for the belts, and the rest of the people, well, you just kind of middle around, and you get a 3-week push, you come up here, and you get squashed. Cool.
Yeah. There's nothing exciting about hearing Charlotte Flair's got a match with almost anybody. Let's see, Dorkchop says, Aaron says he's ready to boo the woo. Dorkchop says he's sick of Charlotte as well. NXT has so much women's talent just getting buried. Aaron says bummed for Ruby and her brand new green hair and love that Natty tore up KO's set. Dorkchop, when Charlotte is on, it's time to go make food or whatever. And I agree with that 100 times. I've seen the Charlotte shtick a million times by now, and I'm over it. And Aaron says, excuse me, Becky is the GOAT, you know, over Charlotte. I did hear an argument that someone made where that Charlotte is maybe the best in-ring competitor. I don't think I agree with that, but I know what they're saying. But so they say that she's the Shawn Michaels of the women's division and era, and that Becky is the Stone Cold, because Stone Cold was the bigger icon, the bigger star. Shawn Michaels was the better wrestler.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so I understand that argument. But I agree. I actually do think Becky's a better wrestler than Charlotte, too, because I think there's a lot more to wrestling than doing a moonsault. And that's what she does. That's what everyone talks about. She's so athletic, she does a moonsault. Okay. It's one fucking moonsault. Relax.
I feel like what...
I was going to just say, Charlotte's definitely more athletic than Becky. But, you know, we brought it up in, you know, a while ago that, you know, we were thinking Charlotte's just not that good because everyone she faces looks bad.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, it's, you know, wrestling's a dance. You need 2 people to go out there and, you know, dance together and make each other look good. And when only one person is, you know, hogging the limelight and only making themselves look good, you know, it makes for a shitty product.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you think about Ric Flair's best matches, they always talk about, Flair Steamboat, best of 3, and they talk about Steamboat being one of the best wrestlers of all time. Ric Flair being one of the best wrestlers of all time. You talk about Charlotte Flair's best matches, and what do you got? You got Charlotte Natty in NXT. People will say Rhea Charlotte, which maybe it is one of her best matches, because I don't think of anything else as being this spectacular. I'd say Evolution, Becky Charlotte. Last woman standing.
I think Hell in the Cell, Charlotte and Sasha.
Hell in the Cell, Charlotte, Sasha.
I think there's quite a few Sasha Charlotte matches that I put up there, like Sasha Charlotte, the last woman standing match, where they do the bank statement over the railing. Like, that was bomb as shit.
Oh, the bank statement through the post thing? Yeah, that was dope.
Yeah. No, I feel like the Sasha or the Charlotte HBK comparison holds up to me in the sense that the backstage politics of it. Like, there's this perception of it, and unfortunately, she hasn't done anything to me action-wise that doesn't make that feel warranted.
Yeah.
I look at how this is all booked and how she works with other people, and I'm like, yeah, I could see that. I could see this. Like, this looks like a person who, in their actions, really focuses on themselves.
Yeah. Let's see, chat.
See,
Go ahead.
I think Charlotte's a little more like Andre, where it's like, not an addict wise by any means, but who she wants to work with and who she's willing to work with and look good.
Yeah.
And, when it's a Sasha or a Becky or, somebody that it's like, all right, I like you, I'm going to work with you, that's great. When it's not, her matches are garbage.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost, I think, I could see it as a battle of egos. I mean, I obviously don't know, but I could see it being that if Charlotte's going to go and start putting together a match with Becky, Becky's not going to say, yes, ma'am, whenever you want, ma'am. You know what I mean? Becky's going to be like, no, that's some bullshit. It's not going down like that. You know what I mean? Sasha's going to be like, no, I didn't get here by letting people steamroll me. But I could see her sitting in a room with a Rhea or an Io and being like, yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and rip you to pieces. And they just go, oh, that'd be great. This will be awesome, yeah. Hey, make sure you really sell my stuff because I'm really not going to be selling yours, so I got to look really strong in this one. Oh, okay. Believe me, it's better for your division if I look stronger. Oh, okay. That's what it looks like.
It feels like you're being booked into the idea of like, hey, you're going to be part of the mythology of one of the greatest performers ever. Okay.
Yeah.
If I'm early in a career, I could get that, but some of these people, I feel like the argument should be made. Okay. Can we argue that Charlotte's going to be also part of the career of one of the greatest performers ever?
Yeah.
Like, I'd like someone else to be the bit part in my existence.
Exactly.
Yes,
we got a few things in the chat here. We've got, let's see, Charlotte needs to evolve. She's Rick's daughter. She's got a bad moonsault. 2 big things. Just because of her flip, Asuka is the best in the ring, which I think Asuka's...
2 big things.
Yeah. Dork Chop says she can't commit to the moonsault because if she actually hit it, her boobs might explode. Maybe. And then says that she's Hoganing, which is actually kind of funny because Jim Ross would constantly refer to Charlotte as the women's version of Hogan. I think that a lot of people really put Hogan up on a pedestal as this big draw during an era where that was a thing, but we're in an era where it's not the same thing. To me, I think of Hogan as being the reason... I think of Hogan in WCW being the reason that WCW was so bad. The reason it got so big so fast and the reason it plummeted after 2 years. Like, it didn't have 2 years. I know they talk about this great time, these 83 weeks where WCW beat WWE, but that is not even 2 years out of the grand scheme of time that WCW existed. I was saying we existed for so long and we got almost 2 years of success with Hogan. That tells me that you guys invested so much into what this one person said and thought what they were so good for themselves that you allowed everything else to suffer. And I feel like the women's division suffers under Charlotte, where it grows under people like Bayley and Becky and Sasha.
And in those 83 weeks, Hogan, awesome. Was a part of it, but we like to ignore that Hogan was there for an extended period of time before that, and shit was not working.
That's true. Hogan was in WCW for a bit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What really made those 83 weeks was people around Hogan. It was Hall and Nash coming in. It was the creation of NWO. And if anything, maybe the line Vince said when NWO came to WWE is rather adequate with regards to the thoughts of Hogan. We injected a little bit of poison into WCW. Yeah, by putting fucking Hogan in this.
Yeah. Hogan was a little bit of poison.
The point of Hogan becoming attached to that belt and becoming like this main event figure again and this bad guy, it just became a series of him crushing people.
Yeah. It was.
Yeah.
Let's see, to be fair, NWO was the shit when I was a kid. I was very into Nitro during that period, which I agree. And I think that the frustrating thing is when you look back at it in hindsight, is it could have been the shit for much longer. But it wasn't because of how it was handled and who they entrusted it with. But all that in mind, Charlotte being awful in those regards, maybe will go down as the greatest women's wrestler of all time. She's definitely not going to go down as the biggest star. I think that is going to be held for Bayley for sure. Let's see, Harmless Demon. Hola! Cheers. Thanks for coming through. What are you drinking?
I got some Jameson Caskmates.
Yeah, I got myself some
Coffee.
Jameson cold brew. Oh my god, I can't hold it up. Trust me.
Didn't want it.
I didn't want it. You handed me
You
back the
threw it at her
sticker.
to take the sticker off.
And then she throws the sticker at me and he
God,
doesn't give me back the
here,
boost.
take it.
Yes!
But I think Charlotte, she needs a complete rebranding. And I think it's...
Rebranding? She's got 3 brands.
No. I don't mean like that. I mean like an image rebranding.
I know.
I think she needs to come back like the Hogan and, with dark hair or something. Mm-hmm. Because that's the other thing that, looking at her character right now is I can't tell if she's supposed to be a heel or face.
Yeah.
Because she's flip-flopping back and forth and, it's ridiculous.
I agree that she would look great with a mustache.
Yes.
Blonde, black.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Just let her roots show. She's good.
I do think she makes a better heel than a face for sure, but I'm also not totally interested in her as a heel at this point. But I think that it could be cool if they utilize Charlotte to stir the pot with Sasha and Bayley, like they were suggesting. But the thing is that gets me is I don't want Charlotte getting the credit for that going down. You know what I mean? I don't want people to be all like, oh, look at Charlotte got that. Because of Charlotte. I want the Sasha Bayley thing to be away from Charlotte. I feel like that whole Triple H thing. Get out of here, Charlotte. It's nothing to do with you. You know?
Yeah. I feel like Charlotte, they need to, in a sense, a great rebranding for her would be to make her more like her dad and make her a chicken shit heel.
Oh, she's a chicken
have
shit.
her, but have her be on a losing streak. Have her put people over. Have her put on great matches and still lose. And I think she needs to do that because it's become boring. Have her lose and lose and lose and lose, and have her come back and have her become like the type of heel who, if she wins something, she wins it by, some nefarious means. Something different. I mean, shit, that may not work, but just do something because this ain't working anymore.
I think it's overexposure. I think if we saw her once a week, it wouldn't feel this way. But we're seeing her on NXT, on Raw, and SmackDown, and I don't give a shit about her to want to see her that much. If I could take a small dose, that's one thing. But you just hear her music again, you go, fuck, what now? What now, Charlotte? Let's see. Dorkchop says, lie, cheat, and steal, Charlotte. Make some Charlito heat.
Oh, jeez, no.
But I do think that Bayley, Sasha...
It's the Andrade influence.
Yeah. It's that Andrade influence. I do think Sasha Bayley's got to happen. We've been getting close for so many years, and I think that I think a lot of people are on the edge of their seat about it. And if they tip the scale on that one, I wouldn't be upset.
Yeah.
I would think they'd be waiting for crowds back or something like that.
I would too, because remember when Bayley turned on Sasha and said you ain't shit, and the crowd was just fucking going ballistic. You don't want to take that away.
And they've been building, I feel like every week Bayley says something where Sasha's like, huh?
Yeah.
What? Like, she does these little looks, but they're not they're not giving it the full green light. And
But that's the problem with Bailey and Sasha, is that they've built it up so many times. And it's like, all right, we're going to do this. Bailey turned and attacked Sasha, and then the next week they were best friends again.
Well, they were in therapy. They went to friendship therapy.
Yeah, whatever that bullshit was. But, they keep building up, like, all right, this is going to be a great culmination, and nothing happens.
Yeah. That's why I think the next time that they really tease it, they got to go for it. They've got to. And I think it'd be a cool way to bring Bailey back over to the face side of things. Because here's the other thing, is that I think that this version of Bailey as a heel works so well and is so in tune with her character. I think some of the best character work she's ever done, because it really feels like a goody two-shoes trying to be bad. It really feels like, oh, I'm mean now. I hang out with the mean kids and we're all mean. But you're not mean. You know what I mean?
What the hell?
Clump, what the fuck, dude? There's other ways to drink something.
They didn't even see the highlight.
What highlight?
On social media. This is exactly the same thing. Making noise.
Oh, was in the thing?
You didn't watch it.
No, I've been working all day, and then I came straight here to do the show.
Alright, fine.
I'll watch the clip later. Sorry, I didn't see a highlight from last week when I was doing the show live on it. Let's see.
Sounds like somebody's unprepared for their job.
Let's see. It could really be great, though. Yeah, I think it'd be awesome, and I like the idea of Bailey being a bad guy, but really being a good person trying to be bad, and I think it's how it comes off. And I think that's why people say things like, this Bailey heel move isn't working. I think they're just not getting it. I really do. And I don't say that a lot about a lot of the characters. I think that you don't get the fact that she's a baby face playing heel. Like, that's a meta character right there. Because at some point, she's going to go back the other way, and it's going to be seamless. You know?
A lot of people haven't watched Degrassi, and it really shows.
Yeah.
I've never watched Degrassi.
It's got really Johnny Depp in it, I think. Or Drake.
I heard Drake is a paraplegic or whatever.
Yeah. The good old days.
And then he was in Degrassi.
Yeah.
Let's see. So then...
But what I was going to say real quick, do you think this Bailey-Sasha thing is going to coincide with Bailey, or with Sasha becoming because of her problem?
You're going to need to say that again. Sasha is going to do what with Sasha?
I said, do you think it's going to coincide with Sasha's album dropping?
I do. I think there's going to be a diss track in there. I think that's how it's going to push it. That's my gut.
That'd be cool.
Is that someone's going to be listening to it. Yeah. That's what my gut says. Dorkchop says, wheelchair Drake alert. Yeah. So, yeah, I agree with that. So, Daniel Bryan versus Drew Gulak. What'd you guys think of the match?
It was a good technical match. I didn't watch much of it because I wasn't interested in it.
Yeah.
Good.
I mean, it was a match I was expecting them to do. It was a good match. It was solid. They're good guys.
It didn't make sense.
It has a bit of a stink now that he's gone.
Yeah.
Because I was kind of excited for Drew Gulak to, I was like, oh, this is a cool character. I'd like to see what he does. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it sucks that he's gone now. I thought the match was awesome. I really liked I think Daniel Bryan tweeted it out. He said something along the lines of, like, we agreed before the match that we wouldn't strike, that we were only going to do holds and moves to push each other to their limits when it came to wrestling and not just fighting. And I thought that was really cool. And I thought it really showed. It was a really fascinating match, really cool. And I felt like they were both all in on this. What was cool is there was even that moment at the end where Daniel Bryan just says, I'm better now because of you. I've gotten better because of you. And he shakes his hand and stuff. And then you find out the next day that he's no longer with the company. And so I wonder if there's their big hurrah. Which is also this incredible wrestling match is happening in the midst of them touting Edge and Orton as the greatest wrestling match ever. which is so weird to say about anything.
See, I didn't hear Gulak getting released.
You didn't know that?
But, no.
Well, you heard it here first. Breaking news.
But, you know, because to me it didn't make any sense, you know, before I heard this. Because it was like, you know, they were putting them up as a tag team, and all these other matches were like rivalry matches almost.
Yeah.
But if it's his send-off and, you know, yeah, like, do it. Apparently they're good friends.
Yeah, and Drew Gulak did an interview with Corey Graves on After the Bell, and he talked about when he got into wrestling that he was kind of obsessed with Daniel Bryan and thought this guy was the absolute greatest and really wanted to wrestle him, and it never happened. And when he got to Ring of Honor, Daniel had just left. And he'd always missed him, and so he finally got the chance. That match at Elimination Chamber or whatever was like their first match ever. And so it is cool that if he had to go out, that he got the chance to fulfill that part of his dream. So what they're saying is... Go ahead.
I want to say something. If you get anything here first, you get your news from gas pumps. The joke was better when Kevin said I didn't know, and I wanted to be like, if you get here first,
was it?
You're the kind of person.
So if I go back and splice that in, it's going to suddenly be funny that time?
It's debatable.
Thousands of views.
Yeah. Check out that view count.
You guys just keep going. I'm leaving. See
ya. So what the news sites are reporting, if you want to call them that, is at first they said Drew Gulak was released, and what it sounds like is the reality of it is he wasn't necessarily released, but his contract expired, and he did not re-sign. They were in negotiations supposedly up to the final day, and they could not come to a terms that they both agreed on. So I'm guessing it was a money thing. I mean, I don't know, but I got to imagine he couldn't have been too upset with his creative looking at where it was. And as far as Jim Ross always says, the only two reasons people leave a company is cash or creative. And so if one's good, the other one can't be if they're leaving. So,
but I wonder if Drew Gulak was thinking that, hey, they're giving me a push, they're letting me be with Dana to try and get me to resign just so that I get buried again.
I don't know. I mean, it's possible. So I've heard stuff like that before. I don't know if they would invest that much into a person. I think also they super invested in Gulak because of the kinds of matches he could have in an empty arena that other people were not able to have. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, he and Daniel Bryan could put on a match that felt like it could be in any pay-per-view on any given night with nobody in the ring or nobody in the room, and they wouldn't even notice because they just both love it so much. So I don't know. I don't know that it was, are they going to bury me? I think that maybe, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to, like, speak poorly on anyone if I don't know the situation, but I feel like he probably wanted more money than they wanted to spend. I feel like it's probably as easy as that. If this was 6 months ago, I bet you whatever he asked for, they would have said fine. But right now they're in a position where it's like, we don't know what we can say fine to, but I don't think they would have invested that much TV time and that much time with one of their top stars if they didn't see a future with them.
Yeah, they just let, 20 people go because of what we think is money, so... Yeah, agreed.
You're such a fucking garbage pail, you sack of shit. Clump.
Oh, you looked over here and I was like, what the...
No, I was looking at Clump, he's right here!
I thought you were saying that to me. I was like, what the hell? I'm agreeing with you!
Yeah. We're on the same page!
This is my job to break up relationships. Thank you.
See, Dorkchop
Fine,
says...
I took the fucking straw out of my goddamn cup.
See, he was on TV more and wanted to get paid, plus he stuck around during pandemic time. I don't blame him, to be honest. Yeah, I'm sure it just came down to the numbers. I'm sure they're like, hey, we want you to stay. And I'm sure he's like, and I want to be here, but this is going to be my bottom line. And I bet you it was kind of like, we can't do that. Whether I don't think that's not to say that I think that he overvalued himself, because I don't think that's the case at all. Yeah. I think he probably appropriately valued himself, and I think that they did not feel that they could afford him at his value
at this time.
At this moment. I don't think that it's I don't think the argument's ever been, does Drew Gulak deserve that? I think it's, do they feel they can't afford that? And right now they're in such a weird spot. I kind of don't blame either side. And I really just hope that he does something really awesome. And I hope he comes back.
Or the company and wrestling in general turns around and the situation gets better and they can offer him something. That would be cool too.
Yo, could you guys imagine if they did an invasion angle with the guys they let go, made a huge faction of everyone they let go, and they just come back to those scabs who stayed? Yo.
I don't know. It's a weird ass mix of people.
Yeah, it is. That's why it'd be wild, dude.
Everyone be talking about it.
Hell yeah, they would.
Hurricane Helm's coming in. Got that weird belly because he shouldn't be wearing that outfit anymore.
Yeah.
Looking like Pete Dunne.
Hurricane Helms would be in the back, dude. Yeah.
That's good shit.
Yeah. So I thought that was an amazing match. I thought if that's going to be his last match, that's a really cool way to go out. And, you know, good luck to him. And I hope he comes back. I hope we see him again.
Cheers, Drew.
Yeah. Here's to Drew. Here's Drew, ya. Let's see. The main event was The Miz and Morrison against Otis and Braun Strowman. This match was stupid,
cool.
man.
Oh.
That fucking worm.
I like that Braun attempted it, though. The caterpillar?
Just when I start to get interest in Strowman with The Fiend and Bray Wyatt, I'm uninterested in him now as a comedy character. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm not as interested.
See, I'm more interested in this. Because
Really?
he's showing personality.
There's four people in the ring that all at most show personality.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to watch this and I'm like, oh, cool, so all four of them are going to get their dumb bullshit in? Morrison's going to come out to his bullshit fucking flowing air thing that he looks like he's walking in front of a fan or a leaf blower. Miz is going to do that when I put my hand up, you shut up thing. Braun's going to run around the ring and say you get in his hands, and Otis is going to do a fucking caterpillar.
No, I'm saying I give props to Braun for doing or attempting a caterpillar. He looked like a piece of wood that you just threw on the pavement.
Yeah.
But like I said, for him attempting it, for him just to say, okay, I'll do it. You know, because he knew damn well that he couldn't do the worm or caterpillar or whatever you want to call it. And
he went for it?
Yeah, he went for it.
Yeah.
I think we should come up with a better name for it than the caterpillar for Braun. What's another brand of, like, heavy equipment?
What? A caterpillar's not a heavy equipment. It's a little worm.
I thought it was I thought the reason they called it
is what he's talking about.
Yeah, no, I thought they called it the caterpillar.
The Mack truck.
Yeah, the Volvo.
Because of how it moves.
The Hemi.
The slug.
Yeah, the slug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it looked like.
Yeah.
It's an attempt.
You could call it the stud because then it works both ways. You know, you got like a big piece of wood that's a stud.
Yeah.
Gong, 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 gong. Oh my god.
But I will say, I think it'd be hilarious if we've seen Braun, you know, take F5s and Superman punches and, you know, all these other, like, coup de grace, dirty deeds, all these finishers and kicked out of them. But I would love to see him lose to the caterpillar.
That actually is true. I'd really like to see him lose to that.
It'd be hilarious.
Let's see. I mean, am I supposed to be excited about Otis versus Braun, ultimately?
No.
Because they teased it, and I'm like, I don't care.
I think it's because right now Otis is beloved.
Yeah.
It's just piggybacking off of that, which is kind of sad.
Yeah, and what the hell's happened to Mandy Rose at this point? She's become full-on valet.
Yeah,
She was booked really strong going into this, and now she's just like a side piece. That sucks.
I will also say, Dolph
Hey, at least
kind of looked like that too. Like they both just hardly said anything, just stood there and support. You know, like I was really surprised. The whole promo Mandy did, or not Mandy, Sonya did. Dolph just stared at her or just kind of like looked around. Like, what's he doing?
Yeah.
See?
And
He's
then
not talking shit about Otis.
Yeah.
No, he didn't say anything.
He said, I think one line maybe.
Oh, yeah.
But I think this is going to be one of those Money in the Bank situations where Otis loses the Money in the Bank briefcase to Dolph in a match, and it's because of Mandy.
Well, yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah, I see it in my head right now. I don't think I feel it.
But yeah, no one's interested in Otis going after the Universal or World title.
Yeah, no one's interested in Dolph going after either of those either. I guess there's history between Dolph and McIntyre. You could build off that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it would have been infinitely more interesting if Otis went. I'd rather see Otis go for Drew. I'd rather see Otis go for the NXT title.
Ugh! Stop ruining my stuff.
I think this is the first time I thought Otis was not as good on the mic than I thought.
Yeah.
And I couldn't tell if that was the writing or just an off day, but I was a little surprised.
Yeah.
Well, when they put him on the mic, he basically kind of grunts and is silly. In having him in this featured role and building on it, I mean, it's going to really rely on him, and we're seeing his weaknesses rapidly. Or we're seeing that this is a good, funny character, but it's not a good, compelling character. It's like George the Animal Steel was not a talker.
No, but he's a motherfucker. It was awesome. Yo, this whiskey's good, dude.
You want some coffee?
Motherfucker is awesome.
Dude, it's good.
They can't see you.
Everyone can see.
No.
Hmm? Yeah.
Turning the camera out again.
I think it's not. You're not gonna shake it off, Clump. Let's see. So I think it brings up me. I think it's the end of SmackDown for me. I did enjoy SmackDown more than most other shows this week, and Raw is no exception to that sentiment. So let's get into Raw. It started off very strong and quickly became the shits. It felt like most of my poops. Starts off real strong and drizzles for way too long.
It's like great Mexican food.
It's Taco Bell.
It's not Mexican.
Well, it's
Right, Clump?
it's Tex-Mex because it gives you that chow mein cleanse. This one felt like you go to Panda Express, you get 2 entrees and a side, all 3 chow mein, and you just watch the week expire out. So that's kind of how I felt on this one. It started good with a lot of chow mein, all 3 chow mein, 2 entrees and a side. You start off big with 3 piles of chow mein, and you're like, this night is gonna be good. And then you spend the next 2 hours and 15 minutes or so just trying to figure out how much can be left.
You slowly watch it drip off your tray into the trash.
Yeah. How much can there possibly be left? There's nothing left. And then you're like, oh, wait, we're only halfway through the show.
Actually, that's a true story. It was like 7 o'clock, or what? It was like not even halfway through, and I was like,
Yeah.
no, it's over. This is it.
Yeah, we were watching, I forget which match. Let me see if I can find it real quick. We watched a match. It might have been, I think it was Bobby Lashley even,
Oh, yeah.
where she was all like, so that's how they're ending it, huh? I was like, ending what? It's like, that's obviously the end of the show. And I was like, it's been an hour and 15 minutes. There's still a lot more show. She's all like, oh.
Damn it.
Yeah.
It's like we're getting back to I remember when we were really, really hating Raw and SmackDown. I was like, wait, they did the intro twice? Oh, shit.
Mm-hmm.
No. That's an opening segment. Wait, did USA Network go to the next show?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Oh, God. I did really like the Edge and Randy Orton segment, though. I did enjoy that. I do think they gotta stop fucking calling it the greatest wrestling match ever. It's such a weird thing to say, and nobody can win. I think this. All right, so let me book it this way then. You call it the greatest wrestling match in the history of ever enough times, and then the match ends in like 30 seconds off some bullshit move or DQ.
Just an RKO.
Just a single RKO and it's over.
Yeah,
punt kick, done.
Yeah, and that's it. And everyone goes,
yeah,
what
Ed crawls into the room.
Yeah.
Orton just punts him. And
yeah.
that's it.
Or legit, like the bell rings.
I would love that.
Like legit, the bell rings, and then like Randy Orton slaps the ref, and he gets disqualified, and he goes, "What? I don't know. What do you want from me?" And then leaves. You know.
I don't get paid for this shit.
Yeah, I decided I didn't want to. Like, I think the only way this goes well is if you make sure this match is the single worst wrestling match that's ever happened, and then the whole build becomes hysterical.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I'm so. I would tell my children of this, like.
Yo, and here's the other thing. I was online because I saw them go. They WWE tweeted out. They're like, "Oh, do you agree? Do you think it's going to be the greatest wrestling match ever?" And I decided I would indulge in the comments to see what's going on in there. And yo, everybody just spent the whole time shitting on WrestleMania again. They're like, well, after that trash fucking heap of a match they had at Mania, they're trying to... Is this some sort of slight knowing they had the worst fucking match of all time at Mania? What the fuck are these people talking about, dude? That match...
Have they never seen a Brock Lesnar match?
I don't know, did they not watch, like, most
Giant
of last
Gonzalez.
year? Yeah.
Yeah.
Great Khali was in a few.
Like, I'll even give people this. I even think Randy Orton said it best. They had a grueling fight, but it wasn't a wrestling match. You know what I mean? Like, in his promo, he said that. Yeah, you beat me, but it wasn't really a wrestling match. So, I'll give them that. If you want to say that, like, hey, it didn't feel like a lot of wrestling. It felt like a lot of people hitting people with shit. Okay. Fighting. Yeah, it felt like a fight. Okay. If you want to say, hey, it felt like it went on too long, I would say I see where you're coming from. However, I think that it was supposed to feel like it went on too long because we didn't expect these guys to survive this. It was just showing how much they had in them to outlast every expectation of a reasonable fight. You know what I mean? Because it wasn't a wrestling match is why it could go on that long and be understandable from a story perspective. Of course it went on too long. You'd never last that long. But these guys do. You know what I mean? But I don't think it deserves being shit on.
No. There's a good 100 matches that are worse than that at WrestleMania.
Yes. Miz. Every time the Miz has been at any Mania.
You just hate Miz.
Because he's bad.
I just think he's funny because he's goofy.
Well, see, you know what's funny is that I saw that clip of the last ride and how big they were building up the whole John Cena versus Undertaker thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That was the most garbage match I've ever seen. Let's make it believe that he still got it. The fuck? He was in there for 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a 5-minute match.
Yeah.
Did you watch that special, though?
No.
You should watch there's 2 episodes so far. You should watch them. There's a whole other side of this story of why that match was the way that it was and how we got there. And a lot of it was kind of like you said, where there is a perspective of it of they put that together so that after the match, the Undertaker would feel like it wasn't long enough. Because going into the match and the years before that, it was, I got nothing left. And everyone around him being pretty much like, yeah, no, you really don't, man. You should be done. Mm. And then he got the surgery, he was training, he's getting better. And then it was he didn't want to go out like that with everyone saying, yeah, you're past your prime. So that whole thing was kind of built to give him back the confidence to go out there and put on one more great match, you know?
Yeah, and that's fine, but whoever the producer is shouldn't pick that as their highlight to say, hey, watch this. Because if you need a match, you'd be like, why would I watch this? It was a 5-minute match, if that.
Yeah, part 1 really delves into a lot of it, and then that one was kind of like, it's the how did we get here, I think, that's really good. Plus, if you ever thought you respected the man behind The Undertaker, then you haven't even gotten started yet. Once you watch these,
I've always loved Mark.
I know, but I'm saying, like...
That's the reason why I started liking him.
Exactly. But I'm saying, like, if you feel like you respect him now, Wait till you watch those episodes, and then see where your respect
You're gonna
level
hate the
is.
shit out of him.
What?
Yeah,
Fuck that guy. No. Your respect goes to a level.
That piece of shit.
No, your respect, once you listen to this guy talk about it, gets to a level where you go, oh, I didn't know that was within me to respect someone I've never known on this level.
I'm sorry. Anyone says whole another level, now I think of the new Charlotte Flair slogan.
I don't know what you're talking about.
She kept saying, oh, I'm bringing this title it's a whole nother level. I'm bringing this new...
It's a whole new world.
She kept saying that. They kept touting it. Sorry.
I believe you. I guess I just haven't been listening to a word she says.
No one does.
That was the one thing that I did pick up, where I was like, wait a minute. This was a Mad TV bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Dorchop even brings up the fact that they planned to end the documentary after his Mania with Roman, but he kept on going because that was it. His match with Roman was supposed to be it, but then he rewatched the match and said, that cannot be my last match. He said they're really supposed to be his last ride, but it sucked. And yeah, that's kind of what he was just saying is, yeah. And then they even show him watching it back for the first time, and he's like, yeah, dude, you gotta check it out. You gotta check it out.
No, I'll definitely check it out. Because that was the thing that, they said, oh, this is the last ride. And when they started talking about the documentary, The Last Ride, I was like, wait a second, he's not done.
Yeah.
He's done with AJ now, but you're supposed to lose.
Yeah. But even then, I think it was called The Last Ride because that was, when they started it, that was supposed to be it. And so it's kind of like The Last Ride and what all that, entailed. Let's see, his face when he was watching it back is hilarious. I don't know why they picked that angle. Yeah. Also, you know what? I mean, I'm not even going to...
Was it like underneath him?
Yeah.
Did you see like natural hairs? Was it?
Yeah, and I saw like Booger the whole time. I'm sitting there going like this, like, I get it, you're emotional.
Fire something at the camera.
Yeah.
It's like Scary Movie. A drop of Booger just lands on the lens.
Yeah. If that dude had fucking like even coughed good, forget it. Yeah. I spent like a bit just like... Is he still sad? Is he still sad watching it?
Give him a tissue.
Yeah. Someone throw a hanky at him. You throw it on his lap, he gets it.
No one has hankies anymore.
Bullshit. Can you imagine? He grabs your hanky, blows it, and is like, give it.
Thanks, kid.
Yeah. You're like, nah, you know what?
Like the old Coke commercial where the football player is like, he's like, here, you need a Coke, and the football player throws him his jersey. I think it's Mean Joe Green.
Yeah.
Throws him his jersey. He's like, thanks, kid.
That's funny.
He does that with the fucking handkerchief.
Just the wrestlers.
Thanks, kid.
Dressed like they're from the 40s.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. I guess as long as we're, I guess we're not. As long as we're off topic and we haven't really gotten to Raw, there's something I wanted to bring up, and part of me is like, I wish I'd shot the pictures to you so you could put them up, but I think about it and I don't want us to post pictures of them. Did you watch Dark Side of the Ring this week, Clump?
The one on the Road Warriors? Yes.
Yeah. What'd you think? I don't feel like it was as it didn't feel as open a dialogue as some of the other ones have in the past. It felt like they really attacked him. And I feel like it didn't humanize Hawk in a good way.
It felt very one-sided.
Yeah.
The only perspective that I saw positively were, like, it felt like we're gonna tell the tale of a person's collapse, which, okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's compelling. And sometimes there isn't a great defense, because I think, you had the family, and the family wasn't really helping out there. I feel like the focus on WWE and the story with Draws was kind of weird too, because you also could talk about, we've heard the stories of when they poured beer all over Scott Hall.
Yeah.
And how it's really hard to defend that shit.
Oh, wow.
And how I've not heard stories of them doing this angle with Hawk and Hawk being against it. You know what I mean? We've not heard that dialogue. We've not heard that question posed, which to me is like, well, maybe he was cool with it.
Dork Chop says the Animal actually approached the directors about this one instead of the other way around, where a lot of times they take a story that they know about and they want to delve in deeper. It sounds like this time Animal approached them with, let me tell you all the shit about Hawk. And that's why he says that his slant is all over it, which I get that too. But it felt, I don't know, I guess it felt really one-sided like you said, and it felt really like fingers pointed at Hawk, you know, like, fuck you, dude. And I wasn't real thrilled with it. With that in mind, we don't have to delve too far into that because I know Kevlar didn't watch it. And
can I say one other thing I did feel too?
Yeah.
It felt really preachy. Like, I could have seen that be on it felt very much like almost a tale of redemption for the person who found religion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I could have seen that be like on like CTN or something, like, oh, okay. You know?
That's true. And Dork Chop brings up exactly what I wanted to lead into. So this week, which is tonight, is going to be the Owen Hart episode. And I wanted to bring it up because a couple of things came up. One, Martha Hart was in it and was a big part of it. So it's really her storytelling of it. Martha Hart was also on Jericho's podcast. I began listening to it. I did not finish it. I feel like I want to. I'm so torn with stuff that she puts out because she puts out a heavy narrative of Owen Hart never liking wrestling. And I just have a hard time... Maybe I just have a hard time accepting what's reality. But all the wrestlers you talk about, Owen... What the fuck is going on over there?
My headset dead.
You sure it wasn't Clump like playing with some sort of fucking stack of papers there?
No, it was Kevin that time.
Good lord.
No, I just turned off my headphones and went to my Bluetooth.
That's not all that happened, no.
That's all I did.
No.
You do know about this shirt, the Owen Hart.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, sorry.
So Martha Hart was on Jericho's podcast, and she always paints the story of Owen Hart reluctantly getting into wrestling, always trying to find a way out, never wanting to be there, never wanting to be a part of it, always telling her that, just, one more this and that, and then we're going to go do all the stuff I actually want to do. And she painted a picture of somebody who was, like, stuck in the business. Where when you talk to the guys who knew him, or when you even hear the stories about it, everyone talks about his love for everything that he was in it and why he was in it for so long and what a great mentor he was and all that stuff. And so I just find that these stories are conflicting, and I have a hard time thinking that he was raised in the family he was and truly hated the thing. But I don't know. So, all that aside, Martha refuses to let Owen into the WWE Hall of Fame because it is, at the end of the day, just a show, and it's there to make money, and she doesn't want the WWE to make any money off of him because she doesn't want his wrestling legacy to be his legacy. She wants his legacy to be like his fatherhood and stuff, right? Let's see. Oh, Dorchop wants to say real quick, by all accounts, Owen didn't care about wrestling near as much as Brett. He never took it as seriously in terms of legacy or anything. He was proud of the work and did it well, but I don't think he was in... it was his whole life like a lot of the guys. And I can see that as well. I think part of the reason he was so funny and so fun to work with was because he didn't take it so seriously.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that means that he actually didn't like it. But... So here's the part that gets me, right? So Martha says he can't be a part of this because she doesn't want to be his legacy. She doesn't want to be married she doesn't want to be remembered for that kind of stuff, for the tragedy even. So I know he's in like one wrestling Hall of Fame, but it's like a minor one. But here's the deal: is Dark Side of the Ring struck a deal with Martha and released 2 official Owen Hart T-shirts. Mm-hmm. You're not going to put them up, are you?
No.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at it.
The thing that bothers me about it is here's a company that's whole design is to talk about the horrible things that happen in wrestling, and now they're going to make money off of Owen Hart's image and his legacy. To boot, the T-shirts say Dark Side of the Ring on them.
Well, it says because it's going to the Hart Foundation, the Owen Hart Foundation.
Yeah, they're going to have money go to the Hart Foundation, or the Owen Hart Foundation. but you can't tell me they're not going to make a profit on this. They just are.
Yeah.
And the fact that these Owen Hart t-shirts have Dark Side of the Ring written on it, like, you can't celebrate a dude's legacy and then have on the shirt because he died horribly, because he died in a tragic accident. Like, that's what that logo means. Like, why did you have to put Dark Side of the Ring on it? You had to put your advertising. Let's say that you aren't going to make a ton of money on it. You had to make sure that your name was on it and your logo was on it, so you could make as much as you could on there and get as much advertising for the official Owen Hart shirts as possible.
I feel like, and my hope with this would be, because we need to watch it to see, if we're going to do that, we need this episode to end, like, it has to have a structure of, like, the Von Erichs episode. Or, you get what I mean? It has to, like, if you're going to do this and have this in, when we say we're fans of wrestling, and wrestling to me is complex, and we need to talk about the bad stuff too.
Yes.
But this needs to have some kind of part of it being redemption. In what's come out and how people have talked about it, how she's talked about it, I don't know if that's going to be the case. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think this is going to be a person who's angry, and that anger can be justified from their perspective.
Yes.
Like, whenever I hear about Martha and this conflict, I appreciate what Bruce Pritchard says, which is, I'm not going to get into what a widow thinks about her death, her husband who died.
Exactly, and I wasn't trying to talk shit about any of those things.
No.
I was just providing the context of this is what we do know. You know what I mean?
Yes.
This is how she has treated it. And so for her to agree for them to sell these shirts with their logo on there, I felt it didn't sit well with me.
Yes, and that's what I mean. Is I'm not saying you're saying that, but I feel like, yeah, exactly. It feels weird to say that. And then to also say what she did about the Hall of Fame, which is really kind of upsetting. I've also felt that when I've heard people talk about why they want Owen in the Hall of Fame, it's for him being the person he was, not for him being the wrestler. You know, it's for the guy who made everyone laugh, the guy who ribbed. And I know it's, you know, I always see Owen like, yeah, he should be here, not for what he did in the ring, but for what he did around it.
Yeah.
And to me, that is, you know, a big part of what his legacy is the stories around him. If you make people feel so happy and love you so much, then yeah, absolutely. It just, I don't know, man. I want to watch this. I love the show, and I love the stories they tell, and I love the perspectives. But I feel like this one, and that sometimes it does lean on that, like, there's questions regarding this part of it, and I think if they don't, they kind of lean on that they don't have WWE presence. So at times you hear the statement or you read it, we reached out for WWE and they refused to comment, which is, I'll always say whenever you're writing a story or making a journalistic piece, the statement could not be reached for comment is a very deliberate statement. Yeah, it answers so many more questions than anything else because it allows you to write it. And there's times where that's valid. Yeah, like if somebody's not reaching out, yeah, that's valid. But you also have to be careful and report what their side is. Yeah. And there's arguments for what Vince did. I've not heard, you know, that, you know, there's arguments that this was negligently done. This is not the smartest way to have performed this or this or that. But we've also had, you know, conversations and, you know, been told about how, you know, Vince would do this, how the other people feel. And I almost feel like this, I really wish we would get the WWE side here. And I hope, you know, that would break rank. But I also know and partly feel that they shouldn't have to speak.
Yeah.
Well, see, I think, you know, I haven't, you know, seen it or anything like that, you know, obviously, but I think where Marcia's coming from on this is, you know, Martha's blaming wrestling for taking Owen away. And, you know, then to sit around and try and make property shirts with Dark Side of the Moon that shows, you know, the dark side of wrestling is almost similar to, you know, like Hawk's family releasing shirts sponsored by Budweiser or Jameson.
Yeah.
Where the alcohol is what took them, but yet, hey, we're gonna promote this because it's gonna help us, make money or whatever. But the other thing is that I was gonna say is, the WWE Hall of Fame is, compared to other sports, is not a traditional Hall of Fame by any means.
Yeah.
It's not your accolades, it's not what you do. It's a lot of times it's the person, and you celebrate the person. So for her to sit there and say, hey, I don't want him to be recognized as this, look at the people in Hillbilly Jim, the Bushwhackers. They didn't accomplish anything in the ring, but their fan popularity and who they were backstage, is part of the reasons why, these guys are in.
Yeah.
And, for her to sit there and say, we don't want this because of this, but yet at the same time turn around and say, well, here's this, these shirts because of this, it's like, what exactly is your response?
Yeah, here, buy this shirt that says, remember the time that he died. You know what I mean? Like, the fact that Dark Side of the Ring put their fucking logo on there is disgusting to me. At first I looked at it and I was like, oh, that's a really nice Owen Hart shirt. I might get that. And I looked at it and I was like, wait, why does it say fucking Dark Side of the Ring dead fucking center? Like, what the fuck, dude?
Because
Yeah.
she probably feels like this is doing justice, her side story.
On her side, yeah. And that's the other thing that makes me nervous is it's going to be, it sounds like 100% her side, which means that I think that they're, like you said, in journalism, there's a responsibility to talk about both sides of what's going on here. And I feel like this is going to be one of those cases where it's all like, kind of like the Snuka thing, where it was just all like, yeah, fuck that Vince McMahon. This feels like it's going to be a big fuck you, Vince McMahon. And it's like, is that a fair stance? And sometimes it is. But is it a fair stance in this regard? I don't think this is a thing that anybody in that company took lightly or takes lightly. And I just think that this could be distasteful to say, and fuck you, Vince, you did it. You know what I mean? Like, fuck that.
And she's a smart,
go ahead, producer.
She's obviously very, very smart woman. She's a doctor. She, studied psychology and sociology. But maybe this is more cathartic. Maybe this is somehow healing for her.
Mm-hmm.
Is the only thing I can think of. That maybe this closes some sort of chapter feeling for her as not having a say, quote unquote.
Yeah, but I wish that if you're going to do the shirt like that, you would just put the Owen Hart Foundation in it. Instead of where it says Dark Side of the Ring, why couldn't it say Owen Hart Foundation? Or the Owen Foundation, or whatever it's called. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And they've come out with shirts just for the Owen Hart Foundation.
Yeah.
One thing to me, so like, and I'm going to say a few things here because with the Dark Side of the Ring, the things I like about it and don't like about it, I look at from my background. And I get the idea of a compelling interview and a compelling story. That's what we want to do here. And the interview or getting a person whose story hasn't been told, that is an amazing thing to do. And it's something that's important. However, the interest has to be kind of capped by accuracy. If you're going to have this be a piece of catharsis for a person, which I agree with the producer, I feel like a lot of times people for a lot of time, people have wanted to hear Martha Hart speak, to see that catharsis, to see her perspective. And, in a sense, what do you expect?
Yeah.
Because we let this happen, and great, we get to hear that, but beyond the catharsis, what is there? And in a sense, maybe for some of these, you need to put a disclaimer on what this is, or when you're interviewing someone, you have to understand this interview may not happen because we have to maintain some integrity. Like the example that I, always kind of like felt when it came to this kind of story was the idea of unfair equality is the term for it, which is giving two organizations, two parties equal coverage that are counterposed to each other. So the idea of it being like, well, we have this story about this event and we have 20 million people and 2. Do you put them on the same level or do you do this? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if we're going to talk about a story pertaining to like racism, I'm sure that people in certain racist organizations would love to talk about it.
Yeah.
But do they need the equal footing, and do they deserve the equal footing?
Yeah.
And that's the objectivity part. And that's with this, because it's such a small niche thing. In a sense, I feel like they rely on the idea of, well, we know it's this and we just want to get that other side. Yeah, but you need to explain that, because while I get it and I know this is catharsis, there's a lot of people who don't, and they take this as gospel. They take this as fact. They take this as journalism, and there's a lot of layers to the story, you know? And it might be more boring, but maybe that would be the better documentary. Or it might be more difficult to get subject matter, and you might have to do some things that might burn some bridges and not get some stories that our people aim to get. But is it vital?
Be right back.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got the kids. Dorkshop also mentions the directors have said that they want to reflect the truth of the subjects they interview, and in the wrestling world, people's truths may not exactly equal facts, and that's an old Werner Herzog philosophy of filmmaking. And I can respect that too. Mm-hmm. But like you said, when they put shit out there, and I'm sure it's in here, we reached out to WWE and they didn't want to say anything. Almost feels like they give validity to that because it would be so obvious it was all true. You know what I mean? Like, it's a little bit different. I do want to say real quick before we move too far forward that TP Poker made it back in, dude. TP Poker!
No, like, it really is, and again, it's. I like that statement. I think that's a good idea, but in a sense, with this, because it's the other thing I get cautious about with it is because wrestling is always an easy target.
Yes.
Maybe another interesting, if I could pitch a season 3 or an idea for season 3, a very broad meta thing of like, let's talk about how it is an easy target throughout time, and talk to interviewers and people like talk to Bob Costas, talk to all these people about why is it so easy to aim here and go after it. Yeah. And that could be a really fascinating timepiece,
Yeah. A look at why wrestling is so undermined by the rest of pop culture. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that episode's tonight. I know I'm going to watch it. At first I thought about those shirts, and I don't know, I just wanted to bring that up to see what you guys thought about it, because not Poker, but Dorkchop said it too, that the show's logo being on the shirt was tacky as fuck. And I think that, 100%. Like, I thought, oh, how cool. Like, there's going to be some Owen Hart shirts out there. And then I saw it said Dark Side, and I was like, how are you okay with this? This part's the offensive part. You know what I mean? Like,
I think one of them doesn't.
They both do.
One of them has it and one doesn't.
Both do.
Really?
Are you looking at... Keep looking. It's like a little fucking... Are you talking about the one that just looks like a heart with slashes and stuff?
Is it like hidden?
Yeah. Watch. It's in the middle of the heart.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Wow. How did I miss that? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
I have a question, too. Since you listened to the Jericho podcast, I haven't listened to it yet. I've been kind of mixed on it because I wanted to get your perspective. With regard to that podcast, did he ask her... Like, what did he ask her? Did he give her any hard-hitting questions? Did Jericho do anything to kind of, like, talk about, like, well, I thought this, or he seemed like this? Because it feels like, I'm not expecting a lot from him, but in terms of somebody protecting the business and talking about the business and knowing Owen Hart, I kind of want, like, him to say, well, he was great with me, or even say throughout... I would like to see him in the Hall of Fame, and I know you don't want to because, in my eyes, it's his friendship.
Yeah. I haven't finished it. I mean, I didn't get too far along in it, to be honest. I think I'm about 30 minutes in, because he puts so much bullshit in the beginning of his podcast, dude. He played some shitty song by that stupid band he's in now. Not Fozzy, they're a really good band, but that fucking cover band, and I don't know, I forget the beginning of the rest of it. Like, he goes into so many fucking commercials. It's hard to get through a lot of his stuff. But he was really pussyfooting around a lot of it and letting her say whatever and go, oh, okay, yeah. And when she was all like, oh, yeah, he hated wrestling, he goes, oh, well, I mean, I liked him, but yeah, I could see that. And you're just like, what? Like, I don't feel like he was trying to get much out of her, just giving her an outlet, which is fine.
How many outlets do you need to give someone?
He says, pro tip, skip 3 minutes into any Jericho podcast. Yeah, for sure. Conrad's that way too. He opens up all his podcasts with a really long mortgage commercial. So now I'm just like,
that's right.
There's a podcast I used to listen to by a comedian named Bert Kreischer, and I liked it, but he just kept going on, and he would do his own like commercials live. And he's like, yeah, people really like this, and you'd like skip ahead sometimes. Like I remember one, I'm like tap into 15 seconds, and I'm like looking, and it's 15 fucking minutes in. I'm like, I swear to God, if you don't shut the fuck up about Blue Apron.
Yeah, dude, fucking Wade Keller's like that. Absolutely miserable. And Wade Keller's got like this same fucking commercial that he'll play just back to back for 4 minutes. And it was just the same 30-second. And not even 30 seconds. It was like a 15-second commercial. It was just back to back for 4 minutes. And I was like, fuck this, dude. I listened to one episode and I was like, never again.
Make them interesting. There's a friend of the show, Mike J got me into this conspiracy theory podcast by like a legit crazy person, and I love it. And he does his own live reads of these commercials that are really short, and it's bananas. And that's cool because it's things like, well, Simply Safe, I don't believe in it because I don't believe in more surveillance because this could be all hacked. But hey, and I'm like, okay, this is fantastic.
Yeah,
these are great.
Let's see. I think actually I'm okay with ending the show right about here. Was there anything in Raw that you definitely wanted to talk about? Because we already talked about all the stuff. I like what's going on with Seth recruiting the dude. Sort of interested to see where the Liv Morgan story goes. I like they're giving him more time, though. I like MVP and Bobby Lashley together. I hate the shit they're doing with R-Truth. Hate the shit they're doing with the Iconics. Hate the shit with Nia Jax.
Sorry. I know we hate talking about Nia, but why the hell is she falling on a pillow when everyone else is being like slammed on the side of a railing? Like,
yeah, did you catch that? Like she comes over and throws Kari head first into a fucking one of those big cases they have, and then when Asuka came over to kick Nia, she slowly fell down to a fold out bed mat.
Pillow.
It was a huge like a huge mattress, and she goes like, "Oh."
She's made of pillows. She should be able to take harder hits.
Yeah.
You don't want to fuck up the foundation at the Performance Center.
I just thought that was really...
You're going to crack the concrete.
Really, Kevin? Fat jokes?
For someone who I've seen on live Instagrams say, oh, hey, this is wrestling. Yeah, people get hurt. For her to say that, what I would think is out of character, but who knows, social media... Let's just say it was in character. For her to say stuff like that and then tumble on a pillow, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
what the fuck? All right, that's all I got.
I like what they're doing with Apollo Crews. I hate everything about Drew McIntyre. Didn't care about Aleister Black. Hate everything they're doing with Viking Raiders and Street Profits. And thought that Corbin had the best match that Drew's had in a long time, but still not a great match. That was my feelings of all of Raw.
I don't understand how they brought Apollo Crews back from this injury that he couldn't go to Money in the Bank and then be perfectly fine.
Yeah, they had him favored a little bit, but yeah, it felt a little soon.
Yeah.
What you guys think of the social distancing segment with Viking Raiders and Street Profits?
What are you talking about? I didn't like anything to do with either of them. You're talking about the axe throwing shit?
Well, the thing I noticed, so much of what they've done here, and I will give them we're trying to do things for this. Since they fucking opened up, that's a shit ton of people, guys.
Yep.
Calm down.
Yeah.
It kind of felt like this, it felt in bad taste. That's a lot of people around you.
Yep.
Yeah, there was nothing about those segments that I was happy about at all. At this point, I don't care to see the Viking Raiders or Street Profits. If this is what I'm getting from either one of them.
Yeah. Are we doing the axe throwing because we're doing things on each other's turf? Why was the like, then why do we do a basketball game? Who challenged who to it? Are we playing on things? Because that's a really fine line to walk before I start getting nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah, like,
Viking Raiders are going to sell drugs better than Street Profits.
It's going to come down to a rap battle.
Yeah. Fucking Murphy had 2 matches. He had one against Aleister Black and one against Humberto.
By the way, happy birthday, Alistair.
Happy birthday. But yeah, I mean, overall, I felt like this felt like a night after 3 pounds of chow mein.
Thanks to the chow mein.
What's the Chipotle chaser?
Yeah, someone's got to bring it down.
Yeah, a little bit of pain.
Yeah, you start out in great spirits, and as you go, you just go, holy shit, there's a lot in here that's got to come out, isn't there?
You're going to be doing a lot of handstands that day.
No, dude, you can't close your nose.
Well,
Source plug. We went through this.
Yeah, that's what we could do. We could sell branded nose plugs.
Oh, but I do like the stuff with Seth Rollins and bringing in Austin Theory. This could be good.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, I was really happy about that.
It almost, for a while there, looked like Murphy was a little jealous.
Yeah, it was hard to tell what he thought about that. So I'm interested in that whole dynamic. I like that they're building a faction there. I like Buddy Murphy's gear had stained glass on it now.
That was cool.
Yeah.
Really fucking cool. But overall, that's really how I felt about Raw. Raw had a 1.75 rating.
What?
Yeah, 1.757.
Oh, I thought you said 7.5. I was like, wait, like, careful, champ. This is your life Mick Foley numbers.
Oh yeah, no, 1.7. It's so low. It feels like a dramatic drop after Becky's left. That feels a little dramatic. Because I think they've been hovering close to 2, and that's like 300,000.
You said
It is 1 week.
on social media people were protesting, right?
Yeah, I saw a bunch of idiots protesting, saying if Becky's not on it, I'm not going to watch it. I'm like, what do you think you gain by that, you fuck?
Yeah. It's a work, and I don't like this. Bring her back.
Yeah, bring her back.
And is that what she would want?
Yeah, fucking chill. And do you want her to come back to anywhere at all? Like, fuck.
Yeah.
One thing would be interesting would be having her on the commentary table.
Oh, I think it'd be great. Yeah. But
Yeah.
Don't bring pregnant women on here. It's not gone well historically, guys.
what do you mean? They become champions here.
No. Not when there's
Or their
wires
baby,
out.
or we have the Lita Snitsky thing.
Oh, yeah, Snitsky.
Yeah. No.
But, yeah, ratings are pretty low. I know you said it is 1 week, but it does feel like a pretty big drop. And I do think that part of it is, I think, who they're leaning on. They're leaning a lot on Drew McIntyre and Street Profits.
Fucking Asuka.
Oh, yeah, and Nia.
Yeah. We didn't mention Asuka.
Yeah, like, I think they're leaning a lot on these people. Like, this is what's going to draw people in. And this felt like a really hard episode to get through. And if it weren't for doing the show today and having to work today, I wouldn't have finished it last night. I would have gone to bed and watched some of it this morning. If I had Tuesdays off again, I would have rather watched this in chunks than have to sit down and watch the whole thing. It was fucking hard to get through.
Well, the problem is, I think it's just a talent pool from all of this, that we discussed. And the problem is that they're picking and choosing from such a small pool that it's not interesting at all. I'm glad KO's back. Let's do something with this.
Yeah.
I
like Natty tearing about his set, ripping his set apart.
Yeah.
I thought that they both played off that really well.
I love Pissed Off Natty. She's my favorite.
Yeah.
I also love the shit talking between both of them.
Shayna and Natty?
Yeah.
I think that was the best match of the night.
I wonder, like, I kind of wait, like, if this is the thing in protest, I kind of want Seth to come out and say, like, I saw the frustration and anger, and don't worry. You said you wanted her back. I'm here to just, like, lean into the Messiah character.
Yeah, I'm your conduit.
I might give you some credit. I still hate your ass, but I'd be like, okay, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Well, that's how I felt about it. I'm not surprised ratings were low. There wasn't much here to watch. And even when they sent out the email saying this is what's on tonight, you got to watch. I remember looking at that email and being like, "Fuck." Like,
do I have to?
Yeah, I was like, "Oh, you got to be killing! Oh my god, how am I supposed to get through this?" And then you get on and you're like, "Well, they're gonna announce stuff they didn't announce before. They always do." And then when they announce the other stuff, you're just like, "God."
Alright, so what, in these circumstances, with travel and all the states being all up in the air and changing the rules, what would you wanted to see?
I want to see Drew lose the title.
Okay.
I would not want to see Street Profits or Nia Jax at all.
Some people love Street Profits, so okay.
Yeah, not even a little bit.
Right.
Not even remotely. Not even all like, well, I can't. No, none.
Well, you guys almost were enjoying when they started getting serious. When they stopped doing goofy shit and they were like, there was like.
I thought that was their one good promo. I wasn't hopping on the Street Profits.
But you guys were kind of interested.
Yeah, I was like, oh, if they keep going with this, it could be, worth watching. But then they went, no, we tried it on and we think we're just gonna be big fucking idiots instead. Okay.
I want 3 hours of wrestler carpool karaoke.
Ooh, that would be good though.
Yeah.
I think what WWE needs to do is they need to open up, especially with these other states opening up, like Arizona and what other state, Georgia, Texas. I think what they need to do is they need to open up another little arena or rent it out or whatever, and have the talent that is restricted from going all the way to Florida go there.
Yeah, you could do that. You could pull that off. Make multiple venues.
Do like WrestleMania 3 where they had 3 different locations, having matches, just so the talent pool grows and you can have other dynamics in it. Because there's no way Murphy should have 2 matches on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah. Doorshop says there should be an axe throwing tournament for the Intercontinental title.
You should be a what?
Axe throwing tournament for the for the Intercontinental title.
I'm still sad.
Hog contest.
Which one?
Yes.
Hog contest.
Hog? Yeah.
Hog contest, yeah.
Yeah. Batista's not allowed. Yeah, I think that the belts are on the wrong people. I think you don't have a lot of champions that I give too many shits about, and then the people who have interesting storylines are nowhere near anything that seems to matter. So it's weird. It just seems like a little it seems really shallow.
Yeah. Well, and next week, are you gonna want Apollo to beat Andrade?
Yes.
Oh, please.
I do too.
Yeah. What has Andrade done with that title?
He's held it and got suspended and held it and hasn't defended it and held it. And
he got suspended and injured and got to just hold on to it for the whole time.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second, guys. Chow mein issue.
Wait, Clump. We're wrapping it up. We're doing last call.
Last call.
Last call.
Shit.
Yeah. Last call, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Wrapping it up. Not a lot about Raw that was really worth going over, so just hit the hot spots. Thanks for tuning in. Give us the old Prime subscribe, the old follow, the old like, the old heart. Go to WrestlingOnTheRocks.com where you can check out our shop. You can check out our YouTube. You can check out our Instagram, our Twitter. We got clips. You can watch Clump shit himself here in 3, 2, 1 like a Claymore kick. And I think that's it. I think that brings us. Cheers, guys. Thanks for coming through. Thanks for hanging out. Cheers. Give us at least a follow. But it's free to you. It buys me a drink if you get that old Prime subscribe up there and click the little button. And Lord knows I could use another drink. So we'll see you guys next week.
After this week.
Yeah, especially after this week. I'm going to need another one. Cheers.
Cheers.
Peace out, guys.